cameras focused on two of his former teammates, Sean Robertson and John McGovern, as now Mull of Kintyre, as red and white banners are draped from the Trent end away towards our left, and there is also a moving motif, "We shall fight, we shall overcome," as we just soak up the atmosphere here at the City Ground. A day full of emotion for everybody connected with Forest, and now we focus on the football as our referee Chris Kavanagh gets us underway. Forest, red shirts, white shorts, playing from left to right as we look in this first half against Palace in their change strip, the white shirts with the sky blue shorts. And I'm sure, Pat, Forest will be looking to try and capitalise on that feeling of emotion to get off to a good start.
Yeah, you have to use everything that's in your power just now. I'd just like to see the Nottingham Forest fans when they were singing Larry Lloyd's name. Very, very, very moving. I don't know how well it came across the airwaves there, but it was extremely moving how much they felt about their old player. But yeah, as a player you have to get out there and you know have to do something, and if that can give you a good start and make all the difference on the day.
He was certainly a no-nonsense central defender, a larger-than-life character in every aspect, and watched a lovely little story about him in the week from Emlyn Hughes, from his Liverpool days, of course, and where he tried to nobble Trevor Francis early on at Birmingham City, and he got a yellow card within seconds, to which Clive Thomas said to him, "You're a little bit late there," and in his Bristolian accent he replied, "I got there as quick as I could."
That's man to say it.
BBC Radio 5 Live. There's been a goal at Tottenham. Chris Coles.
A shock early lead for Luton, scored by Tahith Chong. Brilliant counter-attack. Ross Barkley chipped into Chong, who found the bottom corner. Tottenham 0, Luton 1.
Well, that is a surprise as it comes out here to Felipe, who has a long drive from about 40 yards out. That was blocked. So Luton Town, remember, who started the day a point ahead of Forest, and there they are leading as Mateta for Crystal Palace switches play out. Muñoz will get there first into the shadows of the Trent end with a cutback, and there with Hudson-Odoi with the interception, and then Hudson-Odoi gives it away into Ayew, and it went just ahead of Ayew and out for a goal kick. So we'll go to John Southall at Bournemouth.
Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. Really good early chance for Bournemouth. Semenyo shot on the right hand side, parried by Pickford, came back to Lewis Cook, 16 yards out, unmarked, put it over the bar. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
So Luton Town with an early goal inside the opening 3 minutes in North London. And wait till that sort of like gets wind around these parts. That will just set the nerves jangling a little bit more.
They don't want to hear it. They don't want to know anything about that just now. That's a bad start for them. However, they've looked lively at the start of this game, right at the beginning there. Brilliant play by Hudson-Odoi. One of his weaknesses at the end of his time at Chelsea is he wasn't attacking players, he wasn't going by players. Well, he's ignoring that now. Flew to the byline, unlucky not to create a chance.
When I came here last season, one of the things I took away from it was the atmosphere at the City Ground. Speaking to some of the regulars today, they were saying it hasn't been as good as it was last year. That's going to have to change. When you look at the 9 fixtures that remain, including this one, 5 of them are at home, and then 3 of the 4 away are teams around them: Everton, Sheffield United and Burnley. So Forest still have destiny very much in their own hands.
They have to, and the teams down there, possibly apart from Sheffield United, all have that, and they have to use everything. I was here near the end of the season, they played Arsenal down here, and the atmosphere was brilliant that day. You're right, it has to be the same, and away as well. They have to give everything. So far, these Forest fans have done so. It's really nice, buzzy, lively atmosphere.
Williams with a throw just over the halfway line. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service. Wherever you are in the world, always a pleasure to have your company. Here we are in the sunshine at the City Ground, where in the early stages it is Nottingham Forest 0, Crystal Palace 0, but Luton Town are leading at Tottenham, and earlier it finished Newcastle United 4, West Ham United 3, as the headed ball, Gibbs White brings it under control, nodded on by Wood. Hudson-Odoi, quite a central area, but he's got Aina on the overlap on that far side, the left. Nigerian international His first appearance for Forest since he was a runner-up in the African Cup of Nations. Ball passed forward. Yates gets it out from underneath his feet well. Out to Origi. Origi on the right-hand side with a cutback. Yates was there. Hooked away by Crystal Palace. And then there was a foul on Eberechi Eze. Pat.
Yeah, Eddie doing that thing that we were talking about before, making sure that he gets himself between the player and the ball, taking the hit as it were. But once again, Origi down the right-hand side, ultra positive, playing as a winger these days, and he's got a trick, gets to the byline, no takers when they put it in, but the wide areas, we talked about them before the game, massively important for Nottingham Forest today.
Aberdeen are leading Ross County by a 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. Of course, the Football League took centre stage yesterday, and they're back in action on Easter Monday around the grounds again from 2:30 in the Football League on Monday, ahead of the Monday night club. As ball is kicked long, and then it's headed away by Williams. It's a strong header forward by Lerma. On this occasion it was hooked away by Williams, and now it's with Mitchell in field. And there is Williams once again for Nottingham Forest to clear the ball away. It comes off the head of Richards, and then the half volley. I don't say, Pat, the ball is spending a lot of the time in the air in these opening 5 minutes.
Yeah, the ball will have to go to hospital at half time. Nobody's got it down, no one's passing it, but then that happens at the end of the season in games. There's no room in that midfield. However, it will develop. It develops in every single game of football. And if you're one of the players like Gibbs White who wants to get on the ball, you have to just keep on battling and fighting until that moment arrives, and be ready for it when it does.
Mitchell waits to take a throw on this near side. In field it goes. Lerma, Eze. Eze's forward ball. Mitchell as the left wing back delivers a good first time cross, and it will be Aina who can run it away out of that far side of the Forest penalty area on that far side, the left. It was a good inviting ball, wasn't it, from Tariq Mitchell?
Yep. It's been a feature of both teams actually, one get wide, getting good crosses in early, no one in to finish them off. At the back post there, Ollie Aina was there. Real power and strength. I watched that young lad come through from his days at Chelsea, and he really has powered up now. He's on the left hand side now, but you know, Reece James down at Chelsea, not dissimilar in style to him as a player, but he's playing outside on the left hand side there alongside his old teammate again from Chelsea, Hudson-Odoi, and they seem to have a good link up together.
Yes, a strong Chelsea connection on that Forest left, as at the moment the blue of the Forest goalkeeper Matt Sells passes the ball, and eventually it makes its way out to Aina in field, and then Wood miscontrols it and puts it out of play for a Palace throw. And we're just talking of Chelsea, we'll in fact go to Stamford Bridge and Will Perry.
Oh, here's Enzo Fernandez, and it's a brilliant save from Ari Muric, who tips it behind for a corner for Chelsea. It's goalless, the first Chelsea attack of the game. Palmer smashing an effort into the side netting, and Brun Larsen has flashed one across the goal down the other end. Goalless.
There's a significant game at the top of the Scottish Championship today. The top two are meeting at Tannadice. Just a point separates the two, and Dundee United, the leaders, are leading Wraith Rovers by 1-0 at Tannadice. Dundee United 1, Wraith Rovers 0. This is the Premier League. It's live on BBC Radio 5 Live, and it's on BBC Sounds as well. And Nottingham Forest have a throw on the left hand side, which Aina eventually will take, and he goes a long way down that line, headed away before it could reach Wood, and it goes out for another throw. We'll nip to Bramall Lane. Katie Smith.
Where it's Sheffield United 0, Fulham 0. Fulham just with a free kick 35 yards out, taken by Pereira, but it's been cleared away by the bottom side in the Premier League. 0-0.
Forest in possession. Sangari back to Murillo. Forward ball, little layoff, didn't quite come off. Lerma in field to Wharton, closed down, dispossessed in the midfield. Ward stabs it forward. Eze, oh, that was crude. That should be a yellow card for Felipe.
And the reason why that happens is the referee let 2 or 3 go, as if he's saying, okay, we want this to be a lively, entertaining game. There's a couple that could have been pulled up beforehand. The players got annoyed about it, and eventually Eze was wiped out by Felipe there. And you're right, it could have been a yellow card, but I think the referee was sensible there. He knew he'd let it go a little bit and realised that it had upset the players.
St Johnstone 0, Dundee 1 is a latest score at McDermott Park in the Scottish Premiership. He's fortunate that it is so early. because Eze just way too sharp for him, as Crystal Palace get a throw over on that far side.
I'm okay with the referee now. I like that, because you have to take control of the game sometimes early on. You don't want to give every free kick, then players start throwing themselves to the ground too easily. So he's managed it in such a way there, then thought, actually now I need to stop this and keep some control on it. And so far I'm okay with the referee.
Chris Kavanagh is the man in the middle here today, as Crystal Palace with Mitchell and Eze link up and get a throw midway through the Forest half in front of the main stand, playing from right to left. 10 minutes played, 0-0. But remember, Luton are ahead at Tottenham. No goals at Bramall Lane, Stamford Bridge, or indeed at Bournemouth. Mitchell with a diagonal throw. Mateta tried to roll away from Felipe. Here is Yates. Williams then hits the ball forward. Ward gets there in front of Wood. Lerma, forward ball. Eze enters the penalty area, finds Mateta, and he finishes it. And finishes it with aplomb. Right-footed, high into the back of the net. And Crystal Palace lead Nottingham Forest by 1-0. 10 minutes played.
Talking about space that will develop at some point. Didn't take long for Eze, did it? Ball played through to him, still got a man in front of him. He draws the defender, flicks it out with the outside of his boot, and Mateta, as you say, hammers it into the back of the net. But it's all about Eze understanding where the play is, understanding where the space is. He manages to get it, but lots of players would have had a shot from that position there. But he's an intelligent player, lays up his bet, and he finishes it.
9 goals that he's scored already. It was his best Palace return, and he gave the keeper absolutely no chance. Buried it. There's been another goal. It's at Tynecastle. Conor McLaughlin.
It's harsh one, Kilmarnock nil. A lovely floated ball across the face of goal by Lawrence Shankland, the man who likes to score them himself normally, and Kenneth Vargas was there to nod home past Will Dennis. Harsh 1, Kilmarnock nil.
Palace have only had one win in their last 12 league games against Nottingham Forest. Are ahead. And it's a double whammy when you consider that scoreline still at Tottenham, with Luton still leading.
Yeah, nightmare scenario for Forest just now, but it is very, very early. We've already seen today games can swing again in the Premier League, and they tend to this season a lot. And at the moment you're looking at Forest, and they're getting the wide players on the ball, but Gibbs White has not found an inch of space, has he? And it's imperative he gets on the ball and creates something from that area, because he is playing number 10, but he's playing number 10 position too.
The strong travelling support that has come up from South London, many of them bathed in the sunshine away towards our right, are making all the noise at the moment inside the City ground, because Palace lead by 1-0. Gibbs White, sharp turn, out it goes. Hudson-Odoi enters the penalty area, tries to place it, easily saved by Henderson. So to Bournemouth, John Southall.
Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. First opening for Everton. Dominic Calvert-Lewin had a goal since October, turned 12 yards out, shot deflected over the bar. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
Also goalless at Chelsea and at Sheffield United. Tottenham 0, Luton Town 1. We've got commentary to come of Aston Villa Wolves at 5:30 on BBC Radio 5 Live. Henderson is holding on to the ball. Hadn't started the last 4, but given another opportunity, given the fact that Johnston is going to miss the rest of the season with an elbow injury, a blow for him. It actually happened, I think, on his 31st birthday, and also, of course, it will rule him out of going with England to the Euros in the summer. And so for Henderson, who had 18 Premier League appearances on loan here last season, he is going to use a little bit of game management even in these early stages.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of sun in his eyes as well. If he comes from the right hand side, he'll have to deal with that. He's not got a cap on, but it's just intriguing the way it has actually started now. As I mentioned, Gibbs White hadn't got the ball. Within 30 seconds he managed to turn a player, and suddenly the space opened up. It's not Elise against Gibbs White, but it's Eze against Gibbs White, but it's a big part of this game.
Surprised actually he hasn't got a cap on, because in the past he has sported a cap, hasn't he?
Exactly the right position where you should have it.
Palace taking their time, much to the frustration of the Forest support. Free kick just inside the half. Comes out towards Munoz, left hand side, waits for the ball to settle, doesn't cross, pulls it back now to Ward on this near side. Munoz takes over, he goes to ground, gets the free kick. Nuno Espirito Santo wandering out of his technical area, complains to referee Chris Kavanagh.
They'll get assistant beside him today, who actually walked up in front of us. No one went near him.
Oh no. Stephen Reid, of course. Where is he? There he is. He's just to the left of the press box after a £5,000 fine and a 2-match touchline ban for his foul-mouthed tirade after the Forest-Liverpool game. Forest as a club were fined £75,000. They're trailing here by a 1-0. Eberechi Eze to take the free kick for Palace. Left-hand side level with the area, just in from this left touchline. Forest have every red shirt back. Eze curling, and dropping, and got a touch on its way through. Corner kick.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. Keeper thought, may come out and catch it. And of course, as soon as he stepped out, he realised the ball was going towards that top corner. I don't know if it would have dipped in, but he really couldn't take a chance. Just get his fingertips over the top. And as soon as, the likes of Eze's got a free kick in those wide areas, you know it's going to get ripped. And by the way, they're wasting a bit of time early, aren't they?
They did. It's catching from Henderson and now to Eze, who trundles his way across towards that far side. Palace lead by 1-0. They're attacking the Trent end. Got a corner kick far side the right. It's an out-swinging corner, and it's a header that doesn't go out of play. It will be kept in play on this near side by Richards, and it will be a Forest throw. We'll go back to Tottenham. Chris Coles.
Spurs should be level, still trailing Luton by 1-0, but Timo Werner has just missed an excellent chance, found by Kulusevski. Werner beat his man, goal at his mercy, placed it a yard wide. Tottenham 0, Luton 1.
Just going back to that punishment that they were handed out, I think the refereeing fraternity were hoping that Nottingham Forest would have been handed a little bit more of a stiffer punishment, bearing in mind that 4 times in the 18 months they have faced sanctions for haranguing match officials. Only when the message is a clear one will it actually stop.
Now you understand why players and managers and officials are under pressure, bottom of the league, and it's been a difficult time for Forest. They've been very unlucky, but it doesn't matter. You cannot do that to officials, and it will only stop happening if you make it illegal just to talk to officials unless you're the captain, something like that. That's what I would love to see.
Well, Forest in the relegation zone for the first time this season, 4 points clear of Burnley, who are at Chelsea. Will Perry.
Chelsea 0, Burnley 0, end to end this one. A brilliant Petrovic save to deny Odebear's effort from an angle which looked destined for the top corner, and Palmer, a shot cleared almost off the line by O'Shea. Chelsea 0, Burnley 0.
Wharton in the midfield, helped out by Eze, laid off by Ayew, stabbed forward by Lerma. Fluency about this Palace attack at the moment, and then he stumbles to the one knee, does Eze, and it allows Williams to run back and bring it away for Nottingham Forest, who are still trailing. Origi, short of the halfway line, short and square. Sangare eventually gets it away. He'd already been caught in possession just moments earlier. Now it's with Murillo, building up a head of steam. The home team work it out towards that far side, the left, and it's with Aina, who now passes the ball to Hudson-Odoi, level with the area, back then to Sangare, and now with Felipe. I don't think he was necessarily expecting that ball back into the centre circle. Now it's with Williams. Palace have got everybody back bar Mateta. Here is Yates in the midfield. He goes short and square. Oliver Glasner is very animated in his tight black jeans with his white pumps and his body jacket. The Austrian watching on. And incidentally, they've taken the lead in every game he's taken charge. All 4 games now, they've taken the lead. However, 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1 of the previous 3. Gibbs-White, forward ball. Aina on the overlap, far side the left. Time to measure over the cross. Fires it in, doesn't beat the first man. Headed out by Anderson. Comes to Hudson-Odoi. Clips it towards the far post. Curls out of play for a goal kick.
It's a bit shame there. Origi could have maybe had a bit more of a go at that there. I mean, he's played striker before himself. He's coming in from the right-hand side. He's at the back post. It was a very half-hearted effort at attacking it with his head. Again, getting into good positions. You almost think Palace, they feel, look, if we're back, we've got 3 centre-halves in there. Put the ball in, we'll deal with it. We're okay with that. If you don't get it in early, it's going to be really tough for Forest to just, nearly caught.
Richards received the ball short, tried to turn away from Origi. He was hesitant, he was dawdling, he was caught and then ultimately clipped by Origi. Free kick to Crystal Palace. There's been a goal. It's at Chelsea. Will Perry.
There's been a goal coming. It could have been Burnley, could have been Chelsea, and it is Mauricio Pochettino's side. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Mudryk cross from the left-hand side. Axel Disasi bundling it in at the far post. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0.
And Motherwell 0, St Mirren 1 is a latest score at Fir Park in the Scottish Premiership. Mateta late into Felipe. That will have rattled Felipe. wait for the retribution. It will arrive at some point as he clears the ball away for a combative defender, I think it's fair to say. Sent off 6 times during his career in Europe. Here is Mitchell on the stretch, couldn't keep the ball in play.
Intriguing Chelsea result there. You know, they're mid-table. That comment from Pochettino that the data say they should be fourth just now, it's one of those words you shouldn't say. It doesn't go down very well with football supporters, but certainly I'm beginning to see some improvement in Chelsea. If they have a good end to the season, they'll be well worth watching at the start of next.
1 defeat in their last 8. That was against Liverpool in the League Cup final. Former Liverpool player Origi, right hand side with the cross, cut out very well by Munoz, who was actually covering the right wing back on this near side behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, it's noticeable, isn't it, how many times they've got to the byline. Sometimes it's been Origi, other times it's Hudson-Odoi, even Olena's got to the byline a couple of times as well. Now, if you're playing with wide players, that's what you want to happen. Problem is they have not picked out one striker yet when they've got there because of those 3 big centre-backs.
So Forest looking for an equaliser. Burnley are behind, Luton are leading. Chris Kavanagh has noticed a little bit of pushing and shoving in that very crowded technical area. Wood getting very close to Henderson. Munoz is trying to separate the two to offer his keeper some protection. Gives White to take the corner kick at the corner of the main stand and the Bridgeford stand here at the City Ground. Left arm goes aloft from Gibbs White. Stuttering run up, corner kick, right hand side, very, very deep, too deep, sails over everybody's heads. Kept in play by Hudson-Odoi, far side the left, level with the area, looks to go on the outside, sends over the cross, it was blocked behind for a corner kick.
Again, Hudson-Odoi, he just pins his ears back, throws down one little dummy, then goes to the byline, gets a corner kick. That's good enough. Keep on asking the questions, that's what he needs to do.
Corner kick for Nottingham Forest. We'll be going to Rangers in a moment, where there's been a goal at Ibrox. But Forest trailing in the sunshine here at the City Ground. Corner kick far side, the left. Gibbs White again to take it. It's an in-swing on this occasion. Henderson did well to get a fist onto that at a very crowded near post. Williams though keeps the attack alive for Forest, down towards the corner flag, sends over the cross. It's a good one. Palace managed to get it away only as far as Murillo blocked his shot. Might come back towards Sangare, and he lifts it over his head, and Palace clear. So straight to Ailey Barber at Ibrox.
Well, Rangers have had the ball in the back of the net. It came from the penalty spot. James Tavernier's penalty was saved, but Scott Wright on the follow-up. We now have a VAR check for possible encroachment, so the goal not awarded yet. I'll let you know if it is.
Well, the goal had been awarded at Chelsea. However, Will Perry,
it is still Chelsea 0, Burnley 0, and the right decision. Darren England referee, VAR John Brooks, as the ball came in from Michaela Mudryk Dasazi. It struck his upper right arm and it's been chalked off. 0-0 at Stamford Bridge.
So back at 0-0, Luton leading at Tottenham by a goal to 0, 1-0 to Crystal Palace here. What have you made of the opening? Well, we're midway through the first half now.
Yeah, it's went very quickly, hasn't it? Well, Forest had, once they lose the goal there, they had a 5-minute jittery period, but they've got back onto their style again. They've got to the wide areas. That corner they put in there was brilliant goalkeeping by Henderson. You're absolutely spot on. So many players in front of them, so they'll be happy with the fact that they're getting good areas. However, they still really haven't had much of an attempt in goal, and that's the big downside.
Forest, I thought they were on the attack there with Gibbs White. You've got to look a ricochet off a clearance from Crystal Palace. Hudson-Odoi keeps it going. Inside, Yates edge of the area, thought about the shot, passes it wide. Origi looks for the opportunity. Good block came in from Mitchell. Again, certainly lively now.
Yeah, they must spend a lot of time looking down to the right-hand side here. Forest have left it. They need to do so, but it's part of Palace's game. They're 1-up. They can soak up a little bit of pressure. They're capable of playing in the break. We can see that, but at the moment, Forest fans must be thinking, as long as they don't lose anything on the break, they're playing not too badly now.
Well, that's the worry, isn't it? That on the counter-attack they could get caught. Got to get something from the home games that remain, including this one. 5 of them are left here at the City Ground in their fight for survival, as Williams collects the little flick inside by Origi, fouled by Mitchell. As they're coming together, he was squeezed in a Crystal Palace sandwich, as we'll get an update in the Rugby League from Ian Chisnell at Warrington.
22 minutes gone. Flying start for the Catalan. They lead by 18 points to 0. Early tries for the wingers Davies and Johnston. Garcia with the help of a video judgment with the third try. Abdul's kicked all the points. Warrington 0, Catalan Dragons 18.
And I can tell you that Scott Wright goal did not stand after the VAR check. So VAR has ruled out goals for Chelsea and Rangers, and as a result, Chelsea 0, Burnley 0, Rangers 0, Hibs 0 are still the latest scores. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, here in the sunshine at the City Ground, where Gibbs White, good 15 yards into the Crystal Palace half, just in the shadows of the main stand to take a free kick, and dropping into the penalty area, headed out by Munoz. Mitchell then heads that bouncing ball away. Hudson-Odoi will play it forward. He's hopping down the technical area, is Oliver Glasner, the Crystal Palace head coach. Murillo slides it into the path of Yates. Yates with a turn and the cross from the left. Palace, though, defending very, very resolutely, get the ball away. Gibbs White there was one of the last Forest players back. His nice little touch with a cushioned touch of the right boot brings it under control, and Forest have the ball, but they still trail.
Yeah, it's about a shame though. Yates got the ball again. He's another player that got to the byline, but he had to put it in first time. Take 2 touches. Palace are organised.
Yes, they are, as Origi goes back to Felipe. Here is Sangari out towards Aina on the left. Hudson-Odoi collects it, starts to dart forward with the acceleration. Anderson clears it before it can reach Gibbs White. Sangari wins the ball back, passes it out right hand side. Origi with the cross into the penalty area, directed out to Gibbs White, couldn't hit it first time. Hudson-Odoi had his back to goal, passes the ball out to Aina, and then the cross comes in and Anderson heads it away, and we'll go to Ailey Barber at Ibrox,
where Rangers are now a goal up against Hibernian thanks to their captain. No stopping this volley thunderbolt from just outside the box from James Tavernier, his 15th goal of the season. The penalty disallowed for encroachment. This one stands. Rangers 1, Hibs 0.
Hudson-Odoi with a cutback, blocked to the near post behind for a corner kick. Ross County have equalised at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 1, Ross County 1.
Yeah, once again, get to the byline, however, it was offside when he went through there, Hudson-Odoi. But I like the positivity. But just a moment before that, Deno, when they got down the right-hand side, it summed up this half for me. They get the ball on the right-hand side, they dink it beautifully. It was Origi into the penalty spot. Nobody. Absolutely nobody there. And they need to do a little bit better. They have to get their midfielders flying forward and asking questions from that ball when it gets to the byline.
There's going to be a stoppage in play here because the Colombian Daniel Munoz I think he's got a blooded mouth, so he's had to leave the field of play. He's going to be quickly patched up. Palace are temporarily down to 10. I noticed they scored the winner for Colombia in their 1-0 win against Spain during the internationals. Henderson has been told to hurry up. He's testing the patience of everybody.
Man, that's quite early to be wasting time, to be fair. But he's been doing it for the last 20 minutes. Well, since the goal's been scored anyway.
27 minutes played. The goal from Mateta is the difference between the two sides. Forest, though, have shown signs of getting an equaliser as Gibbs White comes over the halfway line. Gibbs White, RU will go to approach him. Ola Aina back towards Gibbs White. There was Anderson once again, touches it towards Ward. Ward clears. Did it go out of play? Yes, it did. It'll be a Forest throw.
But it's so positive, you know, the ball down again, the left-hand side there, players like Gibbs White willing to go through. Now, if that final ball doesn't get there or doesn't reach, that's actually not a problem because you're trying the right things, you're taking chances in the final third. That's what you need to do if you're going to create goals. That's why Palace have got a goal, because they did that themselves, but only once.
Munoz he's got a swab stuffed up one of his nostrils. He's been patched up with his mouth, and he's now having to put on a change of white shirt with the blue sash for Crystal Palace, as they're having to make sure with all of the various protocols that he's okay and fit to return. Nottingham Forest. Hudson-Odoi, central area. Yates lets it come across his body, onto his right boot, forward ball. Origi with the cutback, cleared away first time by Richards. Comes out to Sangari, hits it right-footed, 25 yards out. Always on the rise, over the crossbar, out for a goal kick. And Crystal Palace still lead by a goal to nil, but Luton Town still lead at Spurs. Chris Coles.
They do, but only just. Remarkable how Spurs aren't level. Son played through, took it round the keeper. His shot hit one post, rolled across the line, hit the other post, bounced to safety, Werner following up, cleared off the line. Somehow still Tottenham 0, Luton 1.
We identified that Dean Henderson was taking his time and testing the patience. Chris Kavanagh, the referee, has firmly just gone up to him and said, right, you're on a final warning, no more.
And then he wasted some more time immediately. It's incredible. The Forest fans won't let him forget it though, so Henderson will get booked at some point, and he'll keep on doing it until he does.
The header back by Richards to Henderson, holds onto the ball, and then all in green will actually just roll it out there after maybe a change of mind to Anderson. Diagonal ball forward in field to Lerma. Lerma passes the ball to Ayew on the halfway line, tries to roll away from Murillo, just had his legs taken away from him, and that will be a free kick in favour of the Ghanaian. Back to Stamford Bridge, Will Perry.
Well, it's still Chelsea 0, Burnley 0. We've had 19 shots, that's from both sides, but Chelsea have been wasteful. Gallagher with a deflected effort into the hands of Muric, and down the other end, Josh Cullen. Burnley having a real go, a volley held low down by Petrovic. Chelsea 0, Burnley 0.
Matt Sells with the long clearance, all in blue, downfield towards Wood, does well actually to direct his header back towards Hudson-Odoi, holds off a couple of challenges, passes the ball out to Aina, a little step over once or twice, fancy footwork. Those bright orange boots of his for the Nigerian. Hudson-Odoi level with the area on that far side, the left. Can they work over the ball? Back heels it to Aina. Aina now that cross. They're doubled up on him on that far side. Hudson-Odoi then can't keep it with Forrest, and he presents it to Jordan Ayew, who turns and passes it short to Munoz, and now towards the goal scorer Mateta. Holds off Murillo, goes to ground. Forrest win the ball. Ayew wins it back. Referee says though there was a foul in the process. Free kick to Nottingham Forest, 1-0 to Palace.
And do look very confident. I mean, they're getting most of the possession now, Forest. They're dominating this game now. Again, Origi, just a minute ago, gets to the byline. Do you know what they have to stop doing now? Stop just smacking the ball across now. I know strikers like you to do that. Get your head up. You've got to pick somebody out. You must try that now. There's too many white shirts in there.
Well, quite a high line for this free kick for Crystal Palace to get everybody in order. Gibbs White to take it on that far side, the left. It's a high one, it hangs. Lerma with the header away. Williams, Wharton put his head bravely down. Williams then went to ground. No foul, says referee Chris Kavanagh. Gibbs White wins it back. Yates tidies up in the centre circle. Murillo and Aina. Murillo forward ball. Hudson-Odoi far side, the left, seeing a lot of the ball. Munoz though holds him off. Back it goes to Sangare. And Crystal Palace are forcing Forest back towards the halfway line. We'll nip back to Bournemouth. John Southall.
Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. Great chance for Everton. Great chance for Calvert-Lewin. 12 yards out, running onto it. Saved by Neto to his left-hand side. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
Crystal Palace with a clearance from Richards. And he hoists it out of play for a throw to Nottingham Forest. 13 minutes to go to half-time. The home team's still behind.
Well, we're not at Bournemouth, but Calvert-Lewin, I think he has to miss-hit a ball. That's the one that's going to go in. He's getting so many chances, just can't put it in. But here, once again, time and again, it seems easy almost for Nottingham Forest to get into good positions. And you think about it, how many good positions have Palace got into? One,
yes.
Maybe two, and they've got a goal. That's the difference in this league.
Yeah, such a ruthless league in that respect, as Munoz involved in a bit of a tangle with Hudson-Odoi, runs out of play, and it'll be a Forest throw. And Hudson-Odoi just tosses the ball and waits for Ola Aina to come forward. He actually, it's his 100th appearance in English football. His last appearance was at the turn of the year, the 30th of December against Manchester United. Obviously he'd been away on international duty with Nigeria, played in all 7 games when they reached the final in the African Nations. But he'd also been out with a hamstring injury, which has delayed his return to the Forest starting lineup. Here is Origi trying to get away from Mitchell. Eza with the interception. Forest throw level with the area right hand side, and we've got 12 minutes to go to half time.
Just the one thing you were talking about, Aina there. I mean, he's got real power, skills, step overs. Are you allowed to do that if you're a fullback? You didn't used to be.
You tell me. With the winger ahead of him just said, hey, pass the ball to me.
Hey, give us the ball, I do that.
To be fair, you did.
Too many times maybe. No, Aina's real power player, and again, good right back, left back, really comfortable at each, and I wouldn't be surprised one day if he ends up as a midfield player.
The voice of Pat Nevin on BBC Radio 5 Live, where Palace are leading by a goal to nil. Eza with the assist, and he carries the ball forward on this near side, the left, and he looks for a diagonal ball, that Aina with the interception, although that was a heavy ball back towards Matt Sells. Clubbed that, but Sells brought it under control. Back to Warrington, Ian Chisnell.
Warrington, 28 minutes it took them, but they're on the board. Zane Musgrove, a try close enough to the post with Josh Thulis to add the extras. It's Warrington 6, Catalan 18, 9 to the break.
Incidentally, I'm sure you did as well on the way to the ground today. I walked down Radcliffe Road, the first tarmac road in the world, back in 1902, would you believe, from Edgar Hooley. That was yesterday's fact of the day from Claire McDonnell.
Very impressive.
Because Tony was on a day off, as was I, but I still appeared. Showed true commitment to the cause. Claire likewise. Drive every afternoon with Fact of the Day on a Friday at around 5:20.
He was me thinking it was invented by a Scotsman. I think it may have been. Go back to that later.
One for Google. Palace are attacking. Munoz forward. Cross blocked by the bulky figure of Murillo. White shirt, sky blue shorts, playing from right to left. 10 minutes to go to half time. Yates just got his foot to prevent it from reaching Ayew. Here is Gibbs White, but still midway through their own half. No other goals to tell you about in the Premier League. Bournemouth, Everton, Chelsea, Burnley, Sheffield United, Fulham are all goalless. Luton Town, 9 without a win in all competitions, are still leading at Tottenham. That will be good news for Aston Villa fans on their way to Villa Park ahead of the 5:30 commentary that you can listen to on 5 Live after Sports Report, where we'll give you the results and as much reaction as we can for our next commentary. And of course tomorrow, 5 Live Premier League Sunday from midday, Liverpool-Brighton, Manchester City-Arsenal. 2 huge games in the title race. This is massive down at the bottom, and Forest in the relegation zone are still behind. Williams under pressure from Eza. Infield, Sangare. Another heavy touch in the midfield. Didn't give the ball away though. He passed it out towards Olarena on that far side. Now Yates will take over. Wharton, the youngster who they signed from Blackburn, approaches him. Sangare's dropped in between the 2 central defenders. And let's get a quick update from Bramall Lane. Katie Smith.
Sheffield United 0, Fulham 0 had been fairly pedestrian until just now. Muniz wrestling past 2 centre-backs, gets the shot away. Gerbic hits it onto the post. The follow-up over the bar. Sheffield United 0, Fulham 0.
Origi, midway through the Palace half, just 10 yards in from the right touchline. Creates the space for Williams on the overlap. First time cross was a weak one by the Welsh international, and there was Lerma to pass the ball away.
A real shame that Origi, he tries to play the right ball, but the timing of the ball isn't good enough there, and if a player overlaps and you don't give him the ball, you're in trouble because your fullback's out of possession. Fortunately for them, Palace didn't make great use of it, but interesting to look at the 2 managers. Nuno should be jumping up and down all over the place, and he's actually quite quiet, whereas Olivier Glasner should be calm. He's not calm, is he?
No.
It's a jack in the box.
I now know why he's as slim as he is, because he's just burning it off constantly by moving around. Although for all Forest's possession, they haven't created anything of note. They might have had the odd dangerous cross, but the keeper, Henderson, hasn't been tested.
Yeah, and all they want is to get to the byline a couple of times, and when the ball goes in, for it to land at wood. That's all they want, but nothing has landed at them. I would say there's been 8 or 9, maybe even 10 times they've got the ball into that area.
Ball forward, it's a piercing ball. Eza is onto it. Very good save by Sells. Comes out towards Mateta. Crosses the ball from the right-hand side. Matt Sells with what could still be yet a defining moment in the game, because the Forest defence was absolutely sliced wide open, and Eza was onto it, but Sells came to Forest's rescue.
Well, you wouldn't take anything away from Eza. He did everything right. Movement was brilliant. Keeper was out superbly well.
Here is Wharton, passing it out wide. Ayew infield. Munoz back out towards Ayew. Sends over the cross, caught by Matt Sells.
They do look a little bit lethal in the final third, Palace. And the problem is Forest look anything but lethal in that position. Each time they get there, they come alive. You know Mateta's a natural goal scorer. But Eza there once again, movement brilliant, pace great, does everything right, but Sells had to be brave, had to time it right, and he's kept his team in this game because, well, we don't want to speak too soon after earlier on today, but 2 goals is a long way back for Forest.
It certainly is. I think it was Wharton with the through ball Saw him for the first time in their last game. They've since been away on a bit of a team bonding exercise in La Manga. I think I'm right in saying, for Crystal Palace. But Wharton looked tidy against Luton in their last game on the 16th of March. And it was a lovely through ball and almost a second goal for Crystal Palace. Here is Origi just outside the centre circle. Work it out towards the left. Aina is forward. Aina turns midway through the Palace half, looks for Wood. Wood, the hold-up play goes missing. Crystal Palace have it back. Munoz won't go out of play for a throw. Yes, it will, says the assistant referee, despite the best efforts from Hudson-Odoi.
The air's slightly gone out of Forest the last 5 minutes or so. When they keep on getting into the same position, it's got nothing out of it. They seem to have lost a little bit of heart. I'm sure it'll come back, but even around the stadium, it went a little bit quiet there. You can't afford that every single game and every single minute, and imperatively give everything between now and the end of the season.
Now Pat sat to my left, and to my right I have a computer screen with like the video printer, so we can keep you all up to date with the scores as they go in. And it's just popped up that Assignon has been sent off for Burnley, so we'll try and bring you news of that from Will, as Chelsea 0, Burnley 0 was still the latest score. Here is Lerma. Of course, VAR might be will be having a look, as a matter of course, as Lerma back then to Richards. Anderson makes himself available by dropping back a good 6 yards as the central figure of that three-man defence for Palace, and he goes further back to Henderson, and then Henderson hits it high downfield. Felipe with the challenge on Eza, runs to Mitchell, passes it short and square. Lerma forward ball, Mateta, Felipe through the back, got his foot on the ball, and here is Sangare. Anderson steps forward out of defence. Palace have the ball back. We have 4.5 minutes to go to half time, and Forest haven't really had a chance of note so far, and they're still trailing.
Do you know what, you just begin to feel the frustration. These last 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes, the fans are beginning to think this might not happen today, and it's having an effect on the players. They were holding the ball there. The fans got on the back of the Forest players there. They tried to play it out too quickly and lost possession.
Felipe's jumped all over the back of Eza, landed rather awkwardly. Williams, as a result, has stopped play. That would have jarred his back. You know, I was told a number of years ago there had been, I think, an LMA study about how the Premier League the Premier League table doesn't change with 9 games remaining. But I'll break off from that little tale, because there is a penalty at Stamford Bridge. Will Perry.
It's a Chelsea penalty. I think this is extremely harsh. It went to VAR. It was a foul from Assignon on Mudryk, which looked absolutely nothing. Darren England gave the penalty. Assignon mouthed off, got a second yellow card and got sent off. Went to VAR. Darren England said he's happy with it. And John Brooks, the VAR as well. So the penalty is going to stand. But in the meantime, Vincent Kompany also shown a red card. As I say, I think Burnley really, really hard done by here. And it will be even further if Cole Palmer sticks this away. Cole Palmer has this on the spot. It's Muric, his former Manchester City teammate, who's dancing around in that goal in front of the Chelsea fans to try and keep Palmer out. So as things stand, Burnley down to 10 men. They've played really well so far here. Chelsea earlier had a goal ruled out from Disasi for handball, but it's Chelsea's star man Cole Palmer who comes up with an outrageous finish. A little Panenka past Muric, and after all the drama, Assignon off. Kompany sent to the stands. Chelsea ahead through Cole Palmer 1-0.
Thank you, Will. Luton, remember, are still leading at Spurs by a goal to 0. Sheffield United 0, Fulham 0, Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. So basically, very quickly, the Premier League, there are very little changes with 9 games remaining. I look back over the last 8 seasons. With teams inside the bottom 3, there have only been 3 changes in those last 8 seasons with 9 games remaining. Obviously, points deduction and points appeals.
It might change it. Yeah, they may well change it this season then. And I actually think this has just been an extremely strange season anyway, because of the length of the games, the weird number of late goals that have led to unusual and unexpected results. So, I mean, Sheffield United are going to have to do a lot to get out of that.
Yeah, as are Burnley.
Exactly. So it may well be that one or maybe none changes. We shall see.
And we'll get news of Everton's second points deduction by April the 8th at the latest. They had the hearing during the week. Mitchell for Palace, who still lead by a goal to 0. Left hand side level of the area. Comes back towards Mitchell, sliding in was Williams. Mitchell, though, gets to his feet. Felipe had a little tug back. He managed to cross the ball in towards the near post, and Mateta just couldn't get a telling touch as Sells smothered at the near post. We have 90 seconds remaining, and Forest have been, well, anemic in front of goal.
They have. They started quite poorly, then did much better, but they've went quiet now. They look as if they've lost a little bit of belief just now.
Gibbs-White collects it, loses the ball though as he slips and falls over. Anderson comes onto this. Anderson looks for a few runners. Munoz was one of them. Comes to Jordan Ayew. He runs to the edge of the area, enters the box right hand side, and Murillo clears the ball away as we'll go to Bournemouth and John Southall.
Bournemouth 0, Everton 0, but Bournemouth almost ahead. Adams went down in the area, everyone looked for the penalty. Semenya played on and his shot hit the left post. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
So Everton still drawing. Chelsea lead Burnley 1-0. Goalless at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United Fulham. Tottenham 0, Luton Town 1. And here Nottingham Forest trailing still to Mateta's goal in this first half as he strolls as Eberechi Eze for the corner kick far side the right.
It's nowhere near as quick as a stroll. It's so slow getting over
Meander?
there. Yeah, I'll give you Meander, definitely.
It is Eze. It's an outswinger. Felipe gets his head to it. Wharton, though, will bring it under control on the edge of the area. Left-footed, plays the ball back in. Anderson has stayed forward, cleared only as far as Lerma. Hits a right-footed rising drive, off target, goal kick. We'll find out how much stoppage time we will have now, and it's going to be 2 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. You said before, Pat, there's the word belief. Since the game started and all that emotion, the Forest supporters, I'd say there's an air of resignation inside the City ground.
I would agree, and I think it's only came in the last 10 minutes. Before that, it was okay. Cries of you don't know what you're doing at the moment, it's not good news. But certainly in the last 10 minutes, after they created those chances, or created those good positions they got into, and nothing came of it, the Forest players now, there's no urgency about it. Nuno has to get them in at half-time and has to change that attitude.
Well, even with a successful points appeal, it wouldn't, as it stands, take them above Luton Town. The best they can hope for is it being reduced to 3, if at all. And at the minute, the gap between Luton and Forest stands at 4 points down at the bottom of the table with 8 games remaining. Luton Town leading at Spurs. We're into 2 minutes of added on time here, and Nottingham Forest are going to face a huge second half in the City ground when they'll be attacking the Trent end. Here is Gibbs-White. Had a little nibble, did Tyrick Mitchell, and it'll be a free kick to Forest.
But they know what they're doing, Palace. They know Gibbs-White's the one he can't be given any space at all. And do the whole first half here, he's had probably one turn where he's managed to get away from the defenders. Apart from that, every time he gets the ball, he's got either 1 or 2, and usually he's fouled or at least tackled very harshly, and he's having very little impact in the game, which is a shame for Forest fans because they need him.
They certainly do. As a throw for Forest on that far side, the left goes in field. Wood came back over the halfway line, lost the ball, runs in field now to Eze. Mitchell on the overlap as the left wing back. His first time cross goes up the legs of Williams and behind for a corner kick, and there'll be time for Palace to take the corner kick deep into stoppage time.
Yeah, they seem completely controlled at the moment, Crystal Palace. They sucked up all that pressure, and I would say the 3 centre-backs they had, it was almost saying, put the ball in there, we can do that, we've got plenty of players in there. But now that they've run out of steam, Forest, for the moment, they just look comfortable, Palace.
Goalless at Bramall Lane at half-time. Sheffield United 0, Fulham 0. We'll be going around the grounds with Alistair Bruce ball as this corner kick is taken from Eze to Lerma, who swings it over and straight out of play for a goal kick. Will go straight to Rangers. There's been another goal, Elie Barber.
And it is Rangers 1, Hibernian 1. Out of absolutely nowhere, the Edinburgh side are level. Jordan Obita thought he'd taken too many touches, but he found a way to squeeze it past Jack Butland. And somehow, with a few minutes to go before the half-time whistle, Hibs are level. Rangers 1, Hibs 1.
And as we cross to Elie, the half-time whistle was sounded by our referee, Chris Kavanagh. Nottingham Forest 0, Crystal Palace 1. Pat Nevin.
If you play like this, Forest, the last 10-15 minutes for the rest of the season, you're going down. Cannot afford to do that at any part of any game. Whereas Palace, they can just see survival at the end of this next 45 minutes. They're going to hold on. Big 45 minutes here in Nottingham.
Mateta's goal is the difference, scored after 11 minutes. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Thank you, Ian. Second half commentary to come from the City Ground. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin. Nottingham Forest starting the day in the bottom three, behind at home against Crystal Palace. Absolute thriller in the 12:30 today. Newcastle beat West Ham 4-3, having been 3-1 down in the second half. Reaction from that game to come. Now Tottenham, in their last game before the international break, lost 3-0 away to Fulham and were very poor. And Chris Coles today against Luton, not much better.
Not much better, Ali, and they were booed off at half-time. They trail Luton by 1-0. You have to admire Luton. They're fighting for their lives, injury ravaged, they don't change, and they've shown all the characteristics we've come to love this season. Clinical counter-attack early on, Tahith Chong giving them a shock lead after 3 minutes, finishing really nicely into the corner. Since, they've defended resolutely, denying Spurs space to play, relying on a little bit of luck. Son hitting both posts with one shot. Werner should have scored a presentable chance. Spurs are dominating possession. They're not doing much with it, and their play littered with errant touches, wayward passes, and the home fans are not happy. But what a result this would be in the relegation fight if, and that's a big if with 45 minutes to play, it stays this way. Tottenham 0, Luton 1.
Also in the relegation fight, Sheffield United bottom of the table. Half-time at Bramall Lane. They're at home to Fulham. Katie Smith.
Sheffield United 0, Fulham 0. I guess as expected, Fulham dominating possession and the game. They've been building some nice moves. Their best chance for Muniz, whose effort was saved onto the post. But Sheffield United have been tidy. They're happy to just try and slow things down. They've not really offered anything going forward. A couple of wasted set-piece opportunities. And I do wonder if it might just be a case of how long can they hold on through Fulham pressure in the second half. That being said, they were 5-0 down at this point against Arsenal last time at Bramall Lane, so certainly an improvement on that for the fans. 0-0 at half-time.
Half-time at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth, Everton. Surely not a 0-0 for John Southall.
Thank goodness Mark Chapman's not here. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. Everton will be reasonably happy, I think, with this, but it's that familiar problem, scoring goals. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's had 2 chances. The second very presentable, 12 yards out. His shot saved by Neto to his left-hand side, so that wait goes on 5 months now without the goal. McNeil also whipped a shot wide from the edge of the area. Bournemouth 2 good chances. Lewis Cook 16 yards out, unmarked over the crossbar. Then right on half-time, Tyler Adams went down. Everyone looked for the penalty. Semenyo played on and hit the left post. Half-time 0-0.
Half-time at Stamford Bridge as well. Once again, we're talking about ice-cold Parma. Will Perry.
Yeah, we're talking about controversy at Stamford Bridge as well, Ali, because it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, thanks to Cole Palmer's Panenka penalty late in the half, awarded for the softest of contact from Assignon on Mudryk. It was an arm across his chest. Very harsh for me. VAR backed up Darren England's on-field decision. Assignon was sent off for a second yellow for dissent in the process, and Vincent Kompany also sent to the stands for his displeasure. Earlier, Disasi had a goal ruled out for handball. 2 brilliant saves. Muric to turn a deflected Fernandez effort onto the post and behind, and Petrovic to keep out Odeber's effort from an angle which looked destined for the top corner. Ali, have you seen the penalty here?
Yes, I have.
Go on.
Loved it. Absolutely
no,
loved it.
but have you seen the award of the penalty? Did you think it was a penalty? I mean, for me, that is so harsh. I can completely sympathise with Vincent Kompany in a relegation battle, 5 points from safety. There's nothing in that. It's the softest. I'm amazed that has not been turned down by VAR by John Brooks. But there we go. Chelsea lead 1-0. Great penalty, but
great penalty. Yes, that's what I thought you were asking. Will, thank you. More from Will in the second half at Stamford Bridge. Match of the day tonight, if you want to see it, 10:30 BBC One. Late goal at Ibrox in the Scottish Premiership in the first half. Ailey Barber.
Yes, still going here, and it's Rangers now who lead by 2-1. Cyril Dessers with the header to put them back in front. Big reaction to Hibs going level. Rangers now lead by 2-1.
Hearts Kilmarnock, half-time. Connie McLaughlin.
It's Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 0. Hearts in charge and looking comfortable in this one, it has to be said. They took the lead through Kenneth Vargas after a lovely weighted cross from Scotland striker Lawrence Shankland, fresh from international duty, of course. And all Vargas had to do was nod home from 2 yards, which is exactly what he did. Kelly may have had a few opportunities since they fell behind. Probably the best from Marley Watkins just on the stroke of half-time there. But it's definitely Hearts who are doing a solid job of controlling the middle of the park. And by the way, Killie will drop to 5th if it stays this way because of that result, or I should say half-time score between St Mirren and Motherwell. At half-time it is Hearts 1, Killie 0.
Yeah, should make that point as well. Rangers leading Hibs 2-1 at Ibrox now. If they win that game today, they go 2 points clear of Celtic, who play Livingston tomorrow. Other half-times in the Scottish Premiership: Aberdeen 1, Ross County 1, Motherwell 0, St Mirren 1, St St Johnstone 0, Dundee 1. In the Scottish Championship, Arbroath 0, Dunfermline Athletic 3, Dundee United 1, Wraith Rovers 0, Greenock Morton 0, Queen's Park 0, Partick Thistle 1, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 0. In Scottish League 1, Alloa Athletic 1, Annan Athletic 1, Cove Rangers 2, Stirling Albion 1, Hamilton Academical 0, Queen of the South 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Edinburgh City 1. As things stand, with Hamilton 0-0 against Queen of the South, that would be enough for Falkirk to get promoted if Hamilton fail to win that game. In Scottish League 2 at half-time, Dumbarton 0, Stenhousemuir 0, East Fife 1, Elgin City 0, Peterhead 2, Clyde 0, Stranraer 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, and the Spartans 0, Forfar Athletic 0. Half-time now at Ibrox. Eddie Barber.
Yeah, half-time here, Rangers leading by 2-1. They have dominated proceedings going ahead through James Tavernier, but Hibs pulled one back level with their only shot on target in the game through Maelida, but Cyril Dessers right before the whistle, putting Rangers back ahead. And a worrying stat for the visitors, Rangers, they are unbeaten in their last 86 league games when they've led at the break, and they lead here at Ibrox by 2-1.
Two results in the English Women's Super League today. Manchester City top of the table after their 4-1 win at Liverpool. Aston Villa 2, Leicester City 2. Both results they kicked off at 12:30. In the Super League this afternoon, Warrington Wolves are facing the Catalan Dragons. Ian Chisnell.
Warrington 12, Catalan 18 at the break. Red hot start by the French. 3 tries, all converted by Jordan Abdul. Davis, Johnston and Garcia crossing in the first quarter of an hour. It took Warrington time, but 2 tries have got them back in it. Zane Musgrove on 28 and then Toby King on 34. Josh Thulis added the extras. Game on here, Warrington 12, Catalan 18.
Second half commentary of Nottingham Forest against Crystal Palace on the way on 5 Live Sport this Saturday afternoon. Now it's time for the 5 Live News with Jill McKenzie.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Northern Ireland's Deputy First Minister Emma Little-Pengelly says she's determined to provide stability at Stormont after the resignation of her party leader yesterday. Sir Geoffrey Donaldson stood down from his position with the Democratic Unionists after being accused of rape and historical sexual offences. He says he'll strenuously contest the charges. A group of Conservative MPs has called for data on crime rates among migrant communities to be used when deciding who should receive visas. The former Immigration Minister, Robert Jenrick, said there was evidence the UK was importing crime. He's pressing ministers to publish information on the nationality and visa status of every offender in England and Wales. A government source told the BBC it would consider the amendment. Our political correspondent Shelley Phelps says the Tory group is trying to put pressure on the Prime Minister.
Rishi Sunak has pledged to cut net migration, and the government has been under pressure from MPs on the right of his party on this. And the government and MPs, they obviously think that immigration is going to be a big issue for people and a big issue in the coming general election.
The London-based Iranian TV news channel, whose presenter was stabbed yesterday, says heavy threats have been made to its staff. Puri Zarati was attacked outside his home in Wimbledon. Iran has denied any involvement. Teachers in the NASUWT union in England have voted against strike action. The majority of those surveyed said they did not support moving to a formal ballot. Final campaigning's taking place in Turkey ahead of tomorrow's local elections, with President Erdogan's party hoping to regain control of Istanbul. The country's fragile economy, corruption and security are all issues for voters. Pope Francis is due to preside over an Easter vigil this evening after pulling out of a Good Friday ceremony in Rome at short notice. Vatican officials say the Pope, who's 87, wants to preserve his strength for today and tomorrow. And Lizzo says she's quitting, saying she's been targeted online for her looks and character. The singer didn't clarify if it meant she was leaving the music industry, social media, or both.
What happened? Birmingham exploded.
On BBC iPlayer.
You look like somebody who could be somebody.
I want to be a poet.
A poet?
If I wrote the words, and you sung them, and this skinhead girl wrote the music.
From the creator of Peaky Blinders.
It's time a son of mine stepped up. Go and do your duty.
I no longer just want this band to work, I need it to work.
If you don't get away, you just become what everybody already thinks you are.
This Town.
We'll take over the whole world.
Starts Sunday on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sport with Alistair Bruce Ball.
Welcome back. Second half commentary of Nottingham Forest Crystal Palace on the way. Crystal Palace 1-up at half-time. We've also got commentary of Aston Villa Wolves at half-5 after Sports Report for you this evening. In the Women's Six Nations, second weekend of competition, closing stages of Scotland-France at the moment. Latest score there is a tight one, actually. It is Scotland 5, France 8. England host Wales at 4:45 this afternoon. It'll be live on Sports Extra, BBC Two and the iPlayer. Maz Faruqi is at Ashton Gate for us.
Hello, Ali. Yeah, England may have got the bonus point win in Parma 6 days ago, but keeping 15 players on the pitch today will certainly be high on the list of priorities for John Mitchell, you imagine, in this, his first home match in charge of the Red Roses. And a reminder, he's made 7 changes from the team that beat Italy. Alex Matthews replacing the suspended Sarah Beckett after that red card in the first half last weekend. Notably, there was no Emily Scarrett at all in the matchday 23. 7 changes for Wales as well from that narrow defeat to Scotland. Wing Jasmine Joyce, a late withdrawal this week with a hamstring strain. There's a late change on the Wales bench as well this afternoon. Courtney Keat replacing Nell Metcalfe. England the dominant force in this fixture, last beaten by Wales way back in 2015.
A couple of half-times in the Gallagher Premiership for you as well. Gloucester 24, Bristol 19, Harlequins 33, Bath 3. Both of those are half-time scores. It was an absolute thriller at St James's Park in the Premier League this lunchtime. Newcastle came from 3-1 down to beat West Ham 4-3 in the end. Newcastle did go down to 10 men in the final minutes of the match after Anthony Gordon picked up a second yellow card. Substitute Harvey Barnes scored 2 late goals for Newcastle.
One of the maddest games I've played in for sure. You know, we're obviously disappointed to find ourselves where we were in the game. I think there was a bit of controversy over one of the goals, but we knew we had a bit of a mountain to climb, and this team's all about team spirit, never give up, and that showed in abundance today.
Of course, another couple of injuries, and Almiron sits down and you're coming on. You've had so many problems, including yourself. How fit were you for today?
Yeah, no, today I was fully fit for today, but there's obviously been large parts of the season where myself and many other players have missed through injury, and it's been a frustrating one for sure, and I'm sure for the manager as well, not having players available, it's been frustrating. So for me, it's just miss that feeling of being out there. When I am out there, I want to make up for lost time and help the team out as much as I can, and today was obviously a great step forward with that.
Harvey Barnes talking to Alistair Mann, who also spoke after the match with the West Ham boss, David Moyes.
We've done a lot of good things, but probably didn't defend well enough. In the end, if you concede 4 goals, you'll always look, first of all, defensively. But we scored some good goals, and we were a threat in the game as well. But ultimately, we conceded 1 more than they did.
Would it be fair to say that you had control at 3-1?
I don't know. That was only we scored the goal a minute into the second half. So I think it would be. I don't think you could necessarily say we had control at 3-1, because there was still best part of 40 minutes or more to go. So as you know, Newcastle shooting down the way is always a problem, and but look, a lot of things, small margins once again. A couple of decisions the referee gives on penalty kicks. I think the second one actually, Gordon restricts Calvin Phillips from kicking the ball. You put your foot across him, and he's going to kick the ball. He doesn't. He's not doing it deliberately. So I actually think it's the wrong decision. But look, we had so many things which didn't go in our favour today, but I have to say the players done a lot of good things.
How pivotal was that second penalty award?
Well, I've tried to explain it the best I can.
Chris Sutton, Robbie Savage will want your thoughts on that on 6:06 tonight. They will follow Aston Villa Wolves, which is our second commentary in the Premier League on 5 Live Sport this afternoon. Newcastle 4, West Ham 3 at half-time. Bournemouth, Everton goalless. So is Sheffield United, Fulham. Tottenham 1 down at home to Luton. Chelsea 1 up against 10-man Burnley at half-time. And at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest 0, Crystal Palace 1. Second half about to get underway in the company of Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Ali. During the half-time interval, Nottingham Forest's oldest season card holder, Dorothy, was introduced to the crowd as she's been celebrating her 100th birthday. Hasn't really been much else for the Forest supporters to cheer, I'll be honest with you. But they'll be hoping it changes in the next 45 minutes, because Nuno Espirito Santo has made a change. Sangare has been replaced by Anthony Elanga, and that at least is a positive change as Forest look to try and get an equaliser as they trail by 1-0.
It'll be intriguing to see how they do it. I asked you before we knew it, come on, would they try maybe a 4-4-2? You could put Elanga up front alongside Wood. You've got to do something now. There's no point in having such a quiet end to the first half and being bordering on insipid the last 10 minutes. You can't do that. You've got relegation staring you in the face. Well, if you're going to play 4 out-and-out forwards in Origi and Elanga and Wood and Hudson-Odoi, well, it shouldn't be insipid. It's dangerous, but it won't be insipid.
So in the sunshine, red shirts, white shorts, Nottingham Forest at the start of the second half, playing from right to left, have Sells in goal, a back four of Williams, Murillo, Felipe and Aina. Then you've got Yates, Gibbs-White, Elanga, Origi, Hudson-Odoi and Chris Wood. Crystal Palace in their white shirts and sky blue shorts, Henderson in goal, back three of Ward, Anderson and Richards, Munoz and Mitchell are the wing-backs right and left respectively. Lerma and Wharton in the midfield with Ayew and Eza behind the goal scorer Mateta, who gave Palace an 11th minute lead. And Forest, if you've just joined us, are indebted to their goalkeeper Matt Sells for making sure that they didn't slip further behind with a very important save on Eza. And that was after 7 minutes before half time. So Forest straight away get a throw on this near side that Hudson-Odoi goes back to Gibbs-White, and Elanga's gone central, Pat.
Yes, exactly what I thought. So say to you during the first half, they've got 3 big centre halves, so they're almost saying to Forest, yeah, go away, put the crosses in. We're 3 against 1. So it's really simple, you just got another striker on there, so the numbers are a little bit more even. You know, you've got less in midfield, but keep on getting the balls in, they've got more numbers in there now.
Here is Elanga, right side of the area, back to Williams, attacking the Trent end here at the City ground. Williams offside, and the flag goes up. Crystal Palace supporters will be hoping that they maybe could get a second goal before they approach the last 5 minutes of games, because this season Palace have conceded more goals in 5 minutes of the Premier League than any other, 14, but 10 of them have come in the 90th or plus minutes, which is astonishing.
It's astonishing. I've been looking at this all season. I think a lot of people have. It's been ridiculous, and I know and I understand that the games are longer now and you've got more goals that are being scored after the 90th or around about the 90th and after, but it's the importance of those goals. Been incredible, particularly I think Forest have really suffered. So have Luton, it has to be said.
Yes. Here is Aina over the halfway line on this near side. Hudson-Odoi passes the ball down the line. It goes out of play for a throw. As we mentioned, Dorothy and her 100th birthday. Talking of birthdays, of course, 5 Live celebrated its 30th birthday on Thursday. And if you wish to relive 30 years of 5 Live Sports, 30 great sporting moments, you can actually find it on BBC Sounds from 7:30 on Thursday night, or it's in its entirety as a podcast, BBC Sounds, but that's only available for 6 days. So if you don't do it in the next week, then you need to go back and find it on BBC Sounds, 7:30 Thursday night, and you'll be able to do it that way. And it's easy to find, BBC Sounds, so easy to navigate. I've already got it as down as my must listen to.
Yeah. Well, there's always good stuff to listen to. Looking at the way it started here, Origi's out wide there. He's actually pulling himself a wee bit further forward, so that they're almost playing with a front 5.
Ball floated forward and gathered in by Henderson, who goes to ground. Well, watching Henderson's going to be interesting second half. All in green away towards our left, because he was warned for time wasting in the first half, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, at the start of the second half here, he's actually moved the ball quite quickly. But as the game goes on and it stays 1-0, if it does stay 1-0, there's no way in the world that he's going to go at any pace until he's finally yellow carded. We shall see.
Ward did well under pressure. Little ball inside to Wharton. And then Mateta has thrown himself to the ground under the challenge from Felipe. Felipe's got to get yellow carded. He is. Let's go to Katie Smith at Bramall Lane.
Sheffield United 0, Fulham 0. A much livelier start to this second half, and Muniz has hit the post again at the back post header over Gerbic and comes off that post. Sheffield United have had a couple of chances on the break as well. No end product, 0-0.
It was a theatrical fall forward by Mateta, but as soon as the central defender goes to hold a striker and as he turns him, he's in trouble.
Yeah, if you go that tight, it's always a danger in any player. But there are certain players that you don't go that tight to. If they're bigger than you and stronger than you, it's really, really dangerous. It's a mistake by the defender. He's actually lucky it's only a yellow, because I don't think there was anyone who was going to catch Mateta, because it was a long way to go, it has to be said. It's almost on the halfway line, but he was away.
Crystal Palace lead by a goal to nil. We're in the company of the former Everton and Chelsea winger Pat Nevin here at the City Ground. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. Chelsea lead Burnley 1-0. We just heard at Bramall Lane from Katie. And Luton Town are still leading. Well, they were. There's been a goal. Chris Coles.
And they're not anymore. Spurs are level. Deserved, because they've been much better in this second half. Timo Werner claimed it. It may well be an own goal. Ball flashed across the penalty area, and it either went in off Kabore or Werner. Either way, it's Tottenham 1, Luton 1.
And there's been a goal at Stamford Bridge. We'll go there in a moment as the corner is worked to Wharton, edge of the area, back towards Eze, and Eze flashes it across the face of goal. Very well worked by Crystal Palace and close for a second. Come in, Will Perry.
Chelsea won, 10-man Burnley won the equaliser early in this second half, and it's their captain, Josh Cullen. It's a brilliant finish, edge of the D, outside of his boot, beats Petrovic from 23-24 yards. Brownhill on for Brune Larsen at the break. Chelsea won, 10-man Burnley won.
Well, that is a surprise. So Luton a peg back, Burnley get themselves level. Crystal Palace, meanwhile, will try and curb a Forest attack, but the best chances have fallen to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, there have been few of them, but they've been very good. And as we're talking about, the amount of goals that are scored this season from set pieces has been incredible. Every team works very, very hard on them. Had that gone in there from Eze, from that short corner they took, that would have been one of the best ones that we would have seen this season. Unfortunately for him, it just slid past the back post.
Worrying run of form for Nottingham Forest. They're looking for a flag that doesn't materialise, and Eze now gliding across the surface, cuts inside to the penalty area, stopped in his tracks, and Felipe passes the ball out towards Origi. Origi will try and outrun Richards on that far side, but he hit the ball too long. Anderson was the covering defender. Here is Eze once again. Little push in the back by Yates, not given by the referee. Gibbs White chips the ball out to Hudson-Odoi. 7 minutes into the second half. Hudson-Odoi at pace enters the penalty area, pushed away by Henderson. Comfortable height for the goalkeeper, but a lot better from Palace. There was much more intent from that attack.
Yeah, they just look a lot more dangerous on the left hand side there. Most of it is coming from Hudson-Odoi. Oh, and he didn't follow that one there. A bit of confusion there at the back post for Crystal Palace, but once again Hudson-Odoi, he could have crossed the ball in, but I have to tell you, expecting more red shirts to get in there, there was only one again. They need to do better than that. Hudson-Odoi saw that and thought, forget it, I'll have a shot myself. Unlucky.
I reckon that was their first shot on target for Nottingham Forest. 52
almost
minutes in.
Right. Yep, almost right.
What's the latest at Bournemouth? John Southall.
Well, it's Bournemouth 0, Everton 0, but the first chance of the second half to Bournemouth. Marcus Tavernier just inside the penalty area. His shot saved by Pickford to his left-hand side. Good stop that. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
They're very clever, the Forest coaching staff. They rotate it to get into the ears of the fourth official. Noticed it when he was at Wolverhampton Wanderers. So the fourth official is having to deal with different individuals, and once again I wouldn't be surprised if they're having a word about the fourth official about the potential time wasting of Henderson.
Yep, and hoping that the fourth official actually tells the referee, which he probably won't.
Here is Origi, picks the ball up over the halfway line, nudges it into the path of Elanga, gets himself goal side of Richards. Forest still trail by a goal to nil. Tottenham are level with Luton. Goalless at Bramall Lane. Chelsea 1, Burnley 1. In fact, every game in the Premier League at 3 o'clock this Saturday afternoon is level, with the exception of this one. As Forest give it away, sloppy. Mateta, Ward hits it, high ball out towards Eze, climbs and heads it. It'll fall towards Yates. His first touch is to take it away from Lerma. Offside against Origi. Head bowed by Nuno Espirito Santo. As you know, Pat, they picked up 6 points out of 9 in his first 3 games, since 5 points out of 27.
Yeah, sometimes you do get that dead cat bounce, but it doesn't always last. And at the moment I'm looking down at Nuno, and he's looking very, very, very disappointed with his team, but I would say particularly Origi, who has not really shown enough passion in the second half.
There's a stoppage in play. Richards is down, so we will go to Bramall Lane, where it's no longer goalless. Katie Smith.
And it's a huge goal. Sheffield United 1, Fulham 0, completely against the run of play. The ball comes in from the left, and Ben Brereton Diaz with the tap in past Leno in goal. The fans going going wild. Sheffield United 1, Fulham 0.
So as it stands, reading up from the bottom of the table, you've got Sheffield United 17, Burnley 18, Nottingham Forest 21, and Luton Town on 23. Everton 26, but there is a points deduction again to come for Everton. Still not missing any of the action. Lengthy delay here at the City Ground. We'll go to Warrington in the Super League and Ian Chisnell.
Well, Catalan flew out of the traps at the start, and they've done so at the start of the second half as well. Cesar Rouge on 45, and now Tom Johnston has got a fifth try for Catalan of the afternoon. That's Abdul's first conversion miss. He converted the Rouge try. It is Warrington Wolves 12, Catalan 28, less than half an hour to go.
Our next commentary is at Villa Park. Aston Villa against Wolves at 5:30, and Aston Villa fans will be keeping an eye on Tottenham's progress, as is Chris Coles.
Spurs are purring now, still 1-1 with Luton, but they are completely transformed from their lethargic first half performance. Heung-min Son, excellent chance, well found, 6 yards out. His right foot shot well saved by Thomas Kaminski. All Tottenham now, 1-1 with Luton.
Remember, Rangers are still leading Hibs by 2-1. That would take them 2 clear of Celtic, who are at bottom of the table. Livingston tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Regular updates into 5 Live Premier League Sunday, where we have commentaries tomorrow of Liverpool Brighton at 2, and then Manchester City Arsenal at 4:30. As the ball given away by Forrest to Ayew, who shoots right-footed, and it's a dragged effort, well off target for a goal kick. Back to Will Perry at Chelsea.
Still Chelsea 1, 10-man Burnley 1. Cucurella with a cross which has just been turned behind, so Chelsea will have a corner. It's a long time for Burnley to hold out. Remember, Assignon sent off in the first half. That led to the Cole Palmer-Panenka penalty before that great leveller from Josh Cullen. And Vincent Kompany also in the stands here at Stamford Bridge. 1-1.
Feels very flat here, Pat.
It does, and you expect somebody, one of the players, a captain, anyone, just to get his players and say, come on, we need to raise the tempo here. There doesn't seem to be anyone capable of doing it. I would say, other than on the left hand side here, Adoy's done a little bit alongside Ena, but other than that, very, very flat within the team. But it only takes one chance.
Origi battling for the ball on the far side, helped out by Nico Williams, goes on a run towards the byline, sends over the cross. Wood rises, Elanga was also there, and then Elanga and Hudson-Odoi left it for each other as the ball was running away towards the byline on this left hand side. They just about kept the ball in play. Aina shoots, that strikes the legs of Ward, bounces into the penalty area, headed out by Mitchell. Crystal Palace now a little bit on the back foot. Ezedin will look to head it away. Felipe comes across and heads it forward towards Origi, lets it settle right touchline level the area. Mateta back helping out, and then the clearance from Richards up towards the halfway line.
Do you know what happens in these sort of games? They go along and they can't get the pace lifted, and then with 5 minutes to go they lift it, and you always think, well, why did you not do that 25 minutes ago?
Here is Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi with a cross. It was, I was going to say, too close to the goalkeeper. Anderson prevented it from reaching him as he heads it behind for a corner, but Henderson has actually gone down.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't think there's anything wrong with him.
Well, he's gone down a very strange angle, but he's not.
I've just seen him put the thumbs up.
Yeah, he's going to be absolutely fine. I suspect. But once again, great. He's got a little bump. It has to be said. He has got a little bump. He's coming out there. It's a shame for Hudson as well. He didn't colour enough of that ball there, but he's got a little bit of an elbow on his shoulder. He will manage.
And he's quickly back to his feet. Now you can hear the Forest supporters. Trailing still by 1-0. Corner kick near side the left. Gibbs White to take it. Right footed. Keeper under real pressure. Almost dropped onto the goal line before it was cleared away. Giovanni Reina is going to be coming on. He's not been involved in the last 3. He did score for the United States against Mexico last weekend. As we go to Bramall Lane and Katie Smith.
And the atmosphere punctured almost immediately. Sheffield United 1, Fulham 1, an equaliser for Polini, a corner from the right hand side, header at the near post, and it just goes past everyone. 1-1.
Sheffield United 1, Fulham 1, Spurs 1, Luton 1, Chelsea 1, the 10 men of Burnley 1, still goalless between Bournemouth and Everton. It's the Premier League, it's live on 5 Live and BBC Sounds and also the World Service. As Forest cross from the right hand side, cut out by Anderson inside the penalty area. Richards is then closed down by Origi. It'll be a Crystal Palace throw down by the corner flag deep inside their own half as Reina arrived in January on a loan from Borussia Dortmund. The American international coming on for just his 5th appearance, and he's replacing Origi. We will go to John Southall at Bournemouth.
West Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. Everton enjoying a good spell here. Dwight McNeil, tight angle on the right, hit the left post off a defender and cleared away. And Tavernier has just smashed a shot wide for Bournemouth. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0.
You thinking Elanga to go wide right?
Well, first of all, Origi is no surprise whatsoever because, you know, the intensity wasn't there. He just wasn't. He didn't seem to be getting it at all. How important this is. But there's a number of options you could do it, and you know, in these sort of situations, make it quite fluid. Give questions that Crystal Palace haven't been answered already. One thing I wouldn't change is Hudson-Odoi. Keep him left. He's dangerous there.
Sprightly at the moment. Rayner gets a little touch. Gibbs-White lifts it forward. Woods made the run. The backhander from Wood is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Wood. Over the despairing dive of Dean Henderson and Chris Wood, who really has thrived under Nuno Espirito Santo, has scored his 7th goal in 8 Premier League games, and that offers Forest real hope. He took it so well. 1-1.
Well, the imagination is fantastic. You know, I'll always tell you about the player who's actually created the chance. Well, you're right about Wood. He's got his back to it. He's running away from the goal. That is a very, very tough chance there. But the ball's played on, and we were talking earlier on about Gibbs-White. Very, very few chances to get the ball with a couple of yards of space. There he did. Dropped into the pocket. Quarterback, little flick there. Genius ball. Genius finish.
It's a lovely ball in as well, wasn't it, from Gibbs-White? The flight on it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the imagination you have to play that ball, it's not a natural ball. It's on a line with the post, the near post there, from a kind of deep area. Now, it's one of those ones normally you'd have a shot or play it to the back post, but he sees Woods run and he knows his capability. Now we're going to hear a bit of atmosphere.
St Johnstone, incidentally, have equalised against Dundee in the Scottish Premiership. St Johnstone 1, Dundee 1. And every game in the Premier League at 3 o'clock is level pegging. Here at the City Ground, Chelsea, Sheffield United, Tottenham, and in fact changed that. It's no longer level at Bournemouth. There's been a goal. John Southall.
Bournemouth have the lead. Bournemouth 1, Everton 0. Cross from the left-hand side. Solanke got in between the centre halves and headed in from 4 yards out. His 16th Premier League goal of the season. That equals a club record. Bournemouth 1, Everton 0.
But that goal for Nottingham Forest, bearing in mind they didn't have their first shot on target until 7 minutes into the second half. Well, in fact, listen to the atmosphere now. It's given everybody a little bit more, something to cling to.
Yeah, and watch the players now. They should lift from it as well. The Brainers come on now, and you know, a little bit of liveliness, a little bit of dig there as well. But just that little dropping back that he got from Gibbs-White, he sees the game in front of him now, and because he sees the game in front of him, he's getting more time instead of people tackling him from the back.
Ball chipped forward by Yates. Amazing how a game can just change in a very short period of time, as Eza back towards Anderson. Lerma comes under pressure from Rayner, adjudged to have been fouled. That will be a free kick. Let's get another update in the Rugby League. Ian Chisnell.
Warrington back in it again. Warrington 18, Catalan 28. James Harrison crashing over on 53 minutes from very close range. Thulis added the extras. Warrington 18, Catalan 28, 23 remaining.
Earlier, Newcastle United beat West Ham United by 4-3. They were 3-1 down. They produced some fightbacks this season at St James's Park. If you recall, they were 4-2 down against Luton earlier in the year. Anthony Gordon later sent off, but Harvey Barnes with 2 goals. Newcastle 4, West Ham 3. Bournemouth are ahead, level at Stamford Bridge, Bramall Lane and at Tottenham, and now here at the City Ground on 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. Rangers are leading Hibs by 2-1 at the top of the Scottish Premiership, and still Dundee United at the top of the Scottish Championship in that top of the table clash against Raith are leading by 1-0. That would take them 4 points clear of Raith. As Forest, Gibbs-White coming forward, bit of room to run into. Gibbs-White passes the ball, Elanga edge of the area, challenge comes in from Mitchell. They're looking for a free kick, non awarded by referee Chris Kavanagh.
Oh, that's a big call there. It was just outside the box there. It went down. Not that many complaints from the attacker, though, it has to be said. But what a difference in Gibbs-White now, but we'll get back to him in a moment.
Long clearance by Henderson for Crystal Palace. Mateta takes Murillo with him. Williams also snapping away at his heels as Mateta's ever so well to hold on to the ball. And in fact, the decision goes against Mateta, and it will be a Forest throw over on that far side. Jeffrey Schlupp is going to be coming on very soon. That roar from the Forest crowd actually coincided with, I was about to say, where are we going to go next? And then all of a sudden it quietened down and the producer bellowed in my ear to tell me you've had a goal, Katie Smith.
Sheffield United 2, Fulham 1. The home side back in front. They had a free kick 25 yards out, left-hand side, taken really quickly. Ben Berrandiaz cuts back to McBurney, who taps it home 2-1.
Only one win in 9 in all competitions for Chris Wilder's side. As the change is going to be happening, Jordan Ayew is coming off. He scored for Ghana in the internationals with a penalty against Nigeria. So he is off. Jeffrey Schlupp is replaced, so a Ghanaian for a Ghanaian, and back after an absence of 4 games with a thigh injury. As once again the Forest bench have just had a little bit of a talking to from the officials. Straight to Chelsea and Will Perry.
Chelsea 1, Burnley 1, Burnley down to 10. Foster's header kept out by a decent Petrovic save. His acrobatic rebound blocked by Badia Shield. Jackson's just been denied by Muric. Madueke on for Gallagher. Chelsea 1, Burnley 1.
Well, tomorrow we'll focus on the top of the table, but today, for the time being in these 3 o'clocks, we're focusing down at the bottom, and we've got a very, very interesting closing, 25 minutes of this Saturday afternoon in the top flight, with the results as they stand, as Mateta keeps the ball in play, works over the cross. Here is Schlupp, looks for an opportunity, bundled off the ball and then cleared away by Sells, only as far as Anderson. Crystal Palace now in the Forest half, with Wharton able to turn, sunshine once again, passes the ball out towards Richards. Haven't really seen much of Palace as an attacking force second half.
No, they hadn't even considered attacking. They're just going to hold on to the 1-0. That's exactly their mindset. However, that's not good enough for them now. We actually might get a much, much better game now for this last 25 minutes or so, because both teams now actually want to go and score.
Kilmarnock have equalised at Tynecastle. Hearts 1, Killy 1. Ball out by to Mitchell on that far side from Schlupp. In comes the cross. Munoz tried to get on the end of it. Forest clear the ball away, only as far as Richards. Heads it forward. Lerma lets it drop off his chest. Passes the ball back towards Ward. Forward then to Lerma once again. Eza passes the ball back, and they've got a degree of control now as we approach the midway point of the second half here on 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. As Eza looks for the run of Mitchell and gets there, does Mitchell, and the cross cut out behind for a corner. Goal at Bramall Lane, Katie Smith.
And can you believe it, another one for the home side. Sheffield United 3, Fulham 1. This time a header from Ben Berrandiaz. There was a bit of an issue, all the Sheffield United players piling in on the goal after it went in, and Bernd Leno was underneath it, the Fulham goalkeeper. So Fulham not very happy with that. It does look like this goal stands though. There's been a pause. We're about to kick off. Sheffield United 3, Fulham 1.
Corner already taken, and it comes towards Wharton just outside the D. Wharton, and he tried to place it left-footed. It was always on the rise. Goal kick, Pat Nevin.
Well, how incredible is it that there was no effort for Palace to really go for it, try and attack. They lose the goal, and they hold the ball brilliantly after that. I mean, it just shows you the capability that they've actually got. They're not going at it 100%. They'll have to now, because Forest are up for it.
Let's get news to that Kilmarnock equaliser. Connie McLaughlin.
Yeah, Kelly level, an absolute screamer it was from about 20 yards out, I would say. Left-footed shot from Marley Watkins for his 9th goal of the season. An absolute bullet into the back of the net. Xander Clark had no chance. And you know, Kelly have got a bit of a habit of comebacks, it seems, this season. Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 1.
Here is Eza, sharp turn, left corner of the area. Eza getting away from the challenge, is still going. Schlupp is there, it might fall back towards Eza. Tries to find goal, it's blocked by Sells. Mateta prods it away and behind for a goal kick. Well, now they're starting to cause Forest problems.
Do you know, I mean, he's created the first goal, Eza. He should have scored himself, but it was well saved in the first half. That run there, he just glides past 3, 4, 5 players. It's totally effortless for him, but you do want him to do it a wee bit more often. If you're a player, if you're here, just someone who wants to see skills and wants to see excitement, but when he runs, there's very few in his standard in this, well, certainly in this game, but even in this league.
Yeah, it was the legs of Sells, I think, that diverted the effort away from Eberici Eza. 1-1 it remains. So at the bottom you've got Everton are losing. You've then got Burnley, Luton Town and Nottingham Forest, who are all drawing. and Sheffield United are winning 3-1 at home to Fulham. Sports Report with Alistair Bruce-Ball in about 20 minutes time. When this game finishes, then our reporters will dash off to the tunnel. So at 5 o'clock they'll be primed and in position for as much live reaction for Sports Report, with the results of the reaction to come from 5. As Yates snapping against Lerma is adjudged to actually have been fouled by Lerma, and he wants to take the free kick, but he couldn't take it quickly enough.
Well, he should have taken it, because had he taken it quickly, Lerma would have got in the way and he would have probably got a free kick again and a yellow card for Lerma.
Look, that'll be a yellow card. No attempt to play the ball, literally tapped the heels of Aina to bring him down, and it will be a yellow to Jeffrey Schlupp, the Crystal Palace substitute. It remains 1-1, under 20 minutes remaining here at the City Ground.
But you know, since they scored the goal, they've been pushed back a little bit. Nottingham Forest, they haven't got up to the wide right or wide left. You wondered, had they scored that goal, the lift it gave the fans, would they dominate the game? Would they take over the game? No, not yet.
Gibbs-White stands over the free kick. 10 yards in from the left touch line. Forest, red shirts, white shorts, playing from right to left, attacking the Trent end of the ground. Crystal Palace have got every white shirt bar Eza on the edge of their own penalty area. It's Gibbs-White, it's dropping, it's curling, the downward header by Wood straight at Sells. Incidentally, Chris Wood, the 5th Forest player to reach double figures in a Premier League season. Stan Collymore did it with 22, Brian Roy 13, Nigel Clough 10, Awonyi 10 last season. And Chris Wood, although he's 11th of the season overall, it's his 10th in the top flight. After Sports Report, our next commentaries at Villa Park. Team News, Conor McNamara.
And 2 changes for Aston Villa from their draw at West Ham. Diego Carlos returns to the defence. He takes the place of Clement Longley. Moussa Diaby played for France in the international break. He's back in the team, preferred to John Duran. And the main team news for Wolves, 18-year-old Leon Chiwome is given his Premier League debut.
And Conor is joined by the former England international goalkeeper Paul Robinson. Commentary from Villa Park at 5:30. Spurs, incidentally, 5th, 3 points behind Villa at the start of play, still being held by Luton Town 1-1. Nottingham Forest with Elanga. Midway through the Crystal Palace half, passes the ball back. Murillo, his early ball finds Aina on this near side. Right-footed forward ball now with Hudson-Odoi level with the area. It's a right-footed cross. Anderson heads it away. He had a leaping Wood behind him.
You know, really good Crystal Palace. They've realised how important that Callum Hudson-Odoi is for the team, and every time he gets the ball now, he's got 2. He can never really get past Munoz, because he's going to have the right full-back, the right centre-back Joe Ward to come over as well. So really clever play by Palace there.
It's on a knife edge at the moment, as there was a lovely ball from Gibbs-White to Wood, and an outstretched right boot. They brought it down with the outside of the right foot. Couldn't control it. Crystal Palace now could potentially strike on the counter-attack, but Eza likewise. Forest actually did well, got 4 red shirts back to deal with Eza and Mateta.
Oh, Ward, incredible how defending sometimes is great. Ward goes in this time when he shouldn't have gone in, and he'll have a chance there for that man Woods, but he just could not bring it down.
Here is Hudson-Odoi. Elanga wants the return ball. Hudson-Odoi slows it down, left corner of the area. Now he finds Elanga still on this near side the left. Passes the ball back. 17 minutes remain. Nottingham Forest 1, Crystal Palace 1. And anything could still change down at the bottom of the Premier League on this crucial Saturday afternoon. Elanga, challenge from behind, releases the ball though to Hudson-Odoi, running on his toes, left-hand side, passes the ball now towards Rayner. Rayner onto his left foot. Rayner beaten away by the goalkeeper. Hit it firmly left-footed, it was on the rise, but Henderson made a very good save.
They look better with Rayner in there. Gibbs-White further back, controlling the play with everything in front of him, and Rayner trying to get forward, trying to get in the edge of the box a few times. That looks a better, more lively midfield than they had before.
They've got a free kick, which they've taken quickly. Gibbs-White to Hudson-Odoi, looks to go on the outside of Munoz. Hudson-Odoi with a cross, Anderson with a header away, only as far as Gibbs-White! And it was a rising effort on the half-volley right-footed that whistled over the crossbar. Much better from Nottingham Forest. They look a team transformed.
They do, and it's just the changes. And of course the question you're going to ask is, why didn't they start those players at the start of the game? But Gibbs-White, he wants to play a little bit further out the field, but he was getting no space. He's getting space now. Him and Rayner will as if they've played together forever.
Back to Warrington we go, Ian Chisnell.
13 minutes to go, just 4 points between them. George Williams just before the hour, slicing through the French defence. Thulis added the extras. Warrington 24, Catalan 28.
Ball cleared by Henderson. Murillo loses out in the air to Mateta, comes out to this near side. Munoz won't keep it in play. It'll be a Forest throw. On the balance of play, the last 5 minutes, if there was to be a goal, if you were a betting man, you'd say it'd be Forest.
But the big thing is it's changed so much. After Forest equalised, complete control of the game then switched over to Palace. It's as if they thought we better step up a little bit now. You feel as if Palace have got gears when they fancy it, but they only kept it going for about 10 minutes and then Forest have come back into it again. So yeah, it is going to and fro just now, but right at this moment as we speak, yeah, Forest look a little bit better, but it could change.
Bournemouth 1, Everton 0. Chelsea 1, the 10 men of Burnley 1. Sheffield United 3, Fulham 1. Tottenham 1, Luton Town 1 are the latest scores after the result earlier of Newcastle United 4, West Ham United 3. And we'll get an update from Rangers at Ibrox. Ailey Barber.
Rangers still leading here by 2-1, and they've had the better chances in this second half. Cyril Dessers in particular guilty of missing a real clear-cut opportunity, but a nerviness around Ibrox with the narrow lead here. They know every goal and every point counts in this title race, and currently they are top of the Scottish Premiership as they lead by 2-1.
Yes, and it's a 2-point lead too that they would have over Celtic, who go to Livingston tomorrow, and then the Old Firm meet next week.
Yeah, which would be quite incredible. And of course there will be nervy at Ibrox because right at the end of the first half they lost a goal to Hibs because one goal's never enough to be comfortable,
as Crystal Palace have found out, and they were pegged back by a Forest side that are now looking to try and edge their way ahead as Elanga, the substitute, far side the right, keeps the ball in play down on that touchline, down towards the corner flag he goes, looks for the supporting run of Rayner, cleared by Palace, out for a throw. Less than 14 minutes remaining. Motherwell incidentally have got an equaliser at Fir Park. Motherwell 1, St Mirren 1 is a latest score. Nottingham Forest with a throw. Rayner running forward with the cross. It was cleared by Anderson and then helped further away, and then Elanga has jumped into to Mitchell, and that's alerted the assistant referee. We'll go to Tottenham. Chris Coles.
Still 1-1 with Luton, but another massive chance for Spurs squandered by Brennan Johnson right in front of the goalkeeper. Got a little touch on it. It went across the line, hit the post. I must admit, I thought it crossed the line. We all looked at the referee, but he said it didn't cross the line. So we are still at Spurs 1, Luton 1.
Henderson is taking his time. There are a few whistles.
See if you added up how much time he's taken for his goal kicks and his free kicks from back there. It'd be a hell of a long time.
He did start early as well, didn't he? Hughes is going to be coming on for Crystal Palace. They're going to be making a change. Meanwhile, Hudson-Odoi carrying the ball forward on this near left touchline at pace, level the area. Fancy little footwork. Oh, he's done it superb as Hudson-Odoi. Aina. Little touch by Gibbs-White, back towards Murillo. Crystal Palace have everybody back. Every outfield player now is in the Palace half, away towards our left-hand side, and then Forest have lost it, and Eza floats it forward. The flag for the time being stays down. Mateta looked tight, makes the run, and he was saying he was coming back and he was onside, so it'll be a throw to Palace as Aberdeen lead Ross County 2-1 at Pittodrie. Now it was Sheffield United 3, Fulham 1. There's been another goal. Katie Smith.
I cannot believe this. Sheffield United 4, Fulham 1. Free kick, left-hand side, 11 yards out. Harmer in swinging. It pings around the box and falls to Ollie McBurney, his second of the night. We're bathed in sunshine here at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 4, Fulham 1.
I would suggest that Chris Wilder might have match of the day tonight at 10:30 on BBC One. I was going to say on tape, but on record. There might be a few pints flowing in South Yorkshire.
I suggest you might watch it this time. As opposed to other times when we might not bother. Just a little moment there. I mean, the tackle there from Felipe on the far side there had to be right. He's already on a yellow. He made it perfectly well. He likes tackling that lad, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Dundee United, incidentally, at the top of the Scottish Championship, have got a second goal. So Dundee United now will be 4 points clear of Raith Rovers as they lead Raith at Tannadice by 2-0. I know a certain someone who'll be very happy with that scoreline. Will Hughes waits still to come on. We've got 11 minutes remaining. The weak spring sunshine now here at the City Ground as Mateta gives chase, and it will go out of play for a throw. And I wonder what reception a former Derby County player will get. Oh, almost on cue.
I think you can see that one coming just a little bit. Just watching as it water is going to come off now. And Hughes is going to come on. Understand why they're doing that. A lot of effort being put in that midfield now. Just wants it spiced up a little bit.
So Wharton is off, Hughes is on, and we will exchange the City ground for the sounds of Will Perry in West London.
Chelsea won 10-man, Burnley won as Chelsea come forward, and it's that man again, Cole Palmer, who slots into the bottom right-hand corner. Past Muric, who's had a brilliant game. Palmer, who scored the first goal with a Panenka penalty, puts Chelsea in front. Wanted to tell you as well that Raheem Sterling off the bench for Chelsea to Stamford Bridge cheers after last week's boos. Now Chelsea 2, Burnley 1.
And we're going back to Katie because, Katie,
that goal has been ruled out. So Sheffield United 3, Fulham 1. Vinny Souza in an offside position, who the deflection off him, the ball came back to McBurney before he scored. So offside, goal ruled out. Sheffield United 3, Fulham 1.
A pensive Nuno Espirito Santo is deep in thought in his technical area. Still Nottingham Forest 1, Crystal Palace 1. Everton are still behind 11 without a win in the Premier League since they actually played Burnley in mid-December. Here is Elanga, forward, spreads it, left-hand side, finds Hudson-Odoi left corner of the area. Hudson-Odoi tried to nick it back into to Elanga. Crystal Palace still defending. Aina to Reina on the stretch, balloons up, passes the ball towards Elanga. He tells Aina, pass it out towards Hudson-Odoi, plays the ball, cute, inside towards Reina, passes it back to Felipe. He's forward now of the centre circle. Still 1-1 on 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds, and 9 minutes remain. But Forest are pressing. Hudson-Odoi, he's the go-to man, it seems, on this near side, the left. But they've doubled up on him. But he manages to wriggle away and win it back. And then he was fouled, and it's a free kick. Pat Nevin.
Well, doubled and trebled and sometimes quadrupled up on him. Every time he gets the ball, he's got a whole host of white shots around him. The big problem he's got, and it is a problem, he's playing on the left-hand side there, and give him his due. Hudson-Odoi to try and go down the left-hand side, but on his left foot he's not brilliant, and just now and again he should maybe switch wings. That would maybe help him a little bit.
Now a free kick here to Nottingham Forest in a very dangerous position, and Gibbs White is the player who stands over it. Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace have got everybody back. It's 1-1, and we're getting to that time where Crystal Palace have had a tendency to concede late goals. Gibbs White, stuttering run up, right-footed towards the far post. Henderson again did well to punch that ball away. Another goal at Bramall Lane. Katie Smith.
Back in this, Sheffield United 3, Fulham 2, pulling one back just as Sheffield United have one disallowed. Bobby D. Cordova-Reid, who's come on as a substitute, really nice shot from outside the area. Sheffield United 3, Fulham 2.
St Johnstone 1, Dundee 2 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Chris Kavanagh has awarded a free kick in favour of the away team.
That is one of those classic ones. The fact that Lerma rolled 4 times there, I suggest he's probably not that badly injured, because you don't roll when you're injured. There's nothing wrong with him. Get up. Aina's gone down just now, and it's a real shame for Aina, because he's tried to play through it, and I'd say in the last 10 or 15 minutes there's about 3 or 4 different things he is wiped out. He's nothing left, and will that be Toffolo possibly comes on for him?
Toffolo's going to come on. I mean, he had been missing as well with that hamstring injury, and I don't think they're prepared to risk that, bearing in mind that they're at home to Fulham on Tuesday, then they travel next weekend to Tottenham, and then they've got Wolves to come after that. So Harry Toffolo is going to be coming on.
We're getting quite annoyed over there by, I looked at Lerma there, they're rolling about there. Absolutely nothing wrong with them there, so shouts of cheap towards them.
Tottenham 1, Luton 1, Sheffield United 3, Fulham 2, Bournemouth 1, Everton 0, 1-1 here, and another goal at Stamford Bridge. Will Perry.
And Burnley with 10 men, a level again. Chelsea 2, Burnley 2. It's from a corner, and it's Dara O'Shea, his flick header, which should have been saved by Petrovic, who's had a really good game. It's gone through his hands into the back of the net, and it's Chelsea 2, Burnley 2.
Match of the day tonight certainly has a few goals. 10:30 BBC 1.
Some upset fans at Stamford Bridge, and they will be staggered if they don't win against 10 men. Burnley after being up twice.
Just a stoppage in play here. Chris Kavanagh is he's calling a Crystal Palace player towards him.
I think he'll be learning maybe for rolling about and diving as if he'd been poleaxed there when there might not have been any contact at all.
Well, there's been a goal at Bournemouth, John Southall.
And Everton are back in it. Bournemouth 1, Everton 1. It was across from the left-hand side. The keeper, Neto, came for it. Didn't get there. VAR's just looked at it because there was Beto and he nodded it in. And Everton are back in it. Bournemouth 1, Everton 1.
Hughes finds Mateta. Schlupp couldn't control the ball on the edge of the area, and it was an awkward spinning ball that eventually Matt Sells gathered in. It was 1-1 at Tottenham. It's no longer 1-1. A goal, Chris Coles.
And a big one for Spurs in their quest for a top 4 finish. It had been coming. Luton were tiring, and Spurs through their captain lead. Heung-min Son, edge of the area. His right foot shot took a very unfortunate deflection past Thomas Kaminski, and it's Tottenham 2, Luton 1 with 4 minutes to play.
And as a result of that, Nottingham Forest will climb out of the relegation zone as it stands. No, they won't. Yes, they will on goal difference.
It's incredible.
They got a 22
and by
points.
the way, it's going to change constantly. No little chance there. There was a little tackle about Williams. No, I've spoken a great deal about him this afternoon at the right full back position for Nottingham Forest. I think he's been superb today. He's had a hard job to do against Eze, but he's kept him quiet for large parts of it. However, giving away a free kick there. It's about 29 yards out. Eze fancies this one, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Forest have a superior goal difference at the minute of 3 in contrast to that of Luton Town. So Forest, for the first time in the relegation zone this season, have a point that will take them out of the bottom 3 as it stands.
Or a free kick that puts them back in it now.
Well, Crystal Palace do have a free kick, which is fractionally left of centre. It's not quite 30 yards out from goal, but Eze is certainly more than capable. And he gets the ball back from Hughes, and then he tries to take it the long way around. And Eze enters the penalty area, and the ball, last touch, came off a Forest player, and it will be a corner kick to Crystal Palace.
It's a really strange free kick, that, because when he touched it to somebody and they touch it back to you, think it should be a shot. I don't think that's what he wanted. I think he wanted to run at the defenders. It's a very unusual way to take a free kick, but that's Eze. Just wants on the ball every time.
Crystal Palace, corner kick far side the left. There is a hush inside the City ground as Crystal Palace hit the post, comes out towards Hughes, and left-footed drives the ball over the top.
There was a free kick in the melee there, but it was after the ball had hit the post there. That's how close they are. It's incredible.
Let's go to Bramall Lane, Katie Smith.
Sheffield United 3, Fulham 2, but we've just had boos ringing around because they have just announced 14 added minutes. I'm not entirely sure where they've all come from. Fulham pressing as well. They've just had a corner, another shot on target, saved though by Gerbich. Sheffield United 3, Fulham 2.
Mateta. Munoz was in the thick of it as that effort had hit the post for Palace. Here is Schlupp. And he tees up Mitchell, who has a swing at that. Sorry, Lerma, who has a swing at that, and it's off target, and it will be a goal kick.
Again, it's just swung the other way now. There's a few minutes where Palace have been much better. Again, getting it to Eze a few times. Mateta is making himself very big and dangerous in the centre of that box there. But at this point in time, this game, if anybody wins it, it's going to be harsh on the other team.
High ball forward. Hudson-Odoi on this near side, the left. Munoz is back with him. Still 1-1. Hudson-Odoi. Ball to Rayner, lays it off to Toffolo, the left back on this near side. Toffolo strokes it back. Hudson-Odoi collects it just inside the penalty area. Ball headed out by Lerma. There's been another goal at Bournemouth. John Southall.
And have Bournemouth won it now. Bournemouth 2, Everton 1. A right mess from Everton. Cross from the right hand side. Pickford left it. Seamus Coleman chested it, and in it went. An own goal. Bournemouth 2, Everton 1.
Bournemouth 2, Everton 1, Chelsea 2, the 10 men of Burnley 2, Sheffield United 3, Fulham 2, Tottenham 2, Luton Town 1. Luton, who had led in that game. 1-1 here, ball lifted forward, Mateta gives chase, Felipe comes across onto his toes, heads it for his defensive partner Murillo. Gibbs White passes the ball to Toffolo, the left back head down, running forward now over the halfway line, still looking. He's got Hudson-Odoi ahead of him. He passes it to Hudson-Odoi, little flick back inside to Toffolo, closed down by Hughes. Behind it goes for a Forest corner, 1-1.
Toffolo's given a bit of a lift because he's come on from Aina. Aina was tiring, wasn't getting forward. Toffel was fresh and willing to get up there, working well alongside Hudson-Odoi.
Now remember, Sheffield United could have gone 4-1 up. However, now the latest is Katie Smith.
It is Sheffield United 3, Fulham 3, and this might be the goal of the afternoon. Ball in from the right. Fulham had been pushing, and then an overhead kick, well, sort of over the shoulder kick from Muniz. That is now 8 in 8 for him. We still have over 10 minutes of added time to play. Sheffield United 3, Fulham 3.
We're into the 90th minute, and I think there's going to be about 6 minutes of added on time. Gibbs White with a corner kick for Forest, punched away by Henderson.
He's done that well today, Henderson. Coming out, punch. He's not got one wrong yet.
Cross comes in from Ilanga, headed away by Forest. Remember, Crystal Palace fans won't need reminding of this, but they've conceded 10 in the 90th or more this season in the Premier League. However, they've got designs on maybe getting a late goal themselves as Mitchell was forward. There is the 6 minutes of added on time, which we're now into here on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds.
It's good the fact that both of them are going to go for it now. Sometimes there's one team's going to sit back and defend and take the point. Neither team wants a point. Both teams want 3 points here.
Who's looking likely to get the 3 points at Stamford Bridge? Will Perry.
Oh, it could be anyone. Chelsea 2, 10-man Burnley 2. The Boo Boys won't like this one because Raheem Sterling with a sitter, Palmer the cross, 7 yards out, has to score with a header, puts it over Sterling, and then just down the other end from a corner, Jay Rodriguez has just rattled his header against the bar. Still 2-2.
Tomorrow we've got commentary at Liverpool and then at the Etihad as part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. But into stoppage time here at the bottom, Nottingham Forest will be out of the relegation zone, and Everton still sinking. However, at the top of the Scottish Premiership, there's been a late goal at Ibrox. Ailey Barber.
It's come for the home side. Rangers moving back to the top of the Scottish Premiership. A wonderful solo effort from Rabi Matondo, the Welshman finding the bottom corner of the net, and it is point safe. Rangers 3, Hibernian 1.
We have under 5 minutes remaining, still 1-1. Here is Yates. Pat.
A few Celtic fans, hearts and mouth there. That was going to be a Hibs equaliser. However, all the action still here. You feel as if there's a chance to come in this game, don't you?
Yes, you do. And Murillo, forward ball, Gibbs White almost squeezed it through towards Wood, cut out by a sliding Richards. Here now is Rayner. He's certainly made a bit of a difference since he's come on, the American international. Hudson-Odoi coming in now off that left touch line, but he's lost the ball to Munoz, and Munoz has carried the ball from Schlupp, and he's away is Munoz. Hudson-Odoi tries to get back at him and then redeems himself by running back, taking away off the toes of the Colombian, and will actually win a goal kick as Nathaniel Klein will be coming on.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't going to get away from Hudson-Odoi. He is a winger, but he's played wing back many times, so when he had to chase back there, good confidence in that.
And Nathaniel Klein waits to come on. We have under 4 minutes remaining. The ball is hit away by Murillo, only as far as Wood, up towards the halfway line. Toffolo's ball strikes Munoz, sweeps it forward first time. That will go away and through towards Sells. Updating the Women's Six Nations, Mas Faruqi.
Wales are the first point on the board. A penalty slotted by Flaky George, but England have responded immediately. The first try of the match for England, the Six Nations Champions League, 5-3, conversion to come.
3 minutes remaining of stoppage time here at the City Ground, and it is still 1 apiece. A misplaced pass kept in play by Toffolo, who was alert. Bournemouth lead Everton 2-1. Chelsea against the 10 men of Burnley 2-2. Sheffield United were 3-1 up. VAR stopped them from going 4-1 up. Now 3-3 at home to Fulham, and Tottenham have come from behind and lead Luton Town by 2-1. Hughes, his forward ball rattled into the feet of Schlupp, manages to get away from Felipe, who's on a yellow card, feeds it forward, cross comes in from the left, and from Mitchell's first time cross over the face of the goal and out for a throw.
It's just the way that move was developing there. A couple of Forest players really struggling. Watching Hudson-Odoi, I think maybe a little bit of a hamstring problem there. Even on the right hand side there, you're seeing problems for Williams. Certainly those two players, as much as any other players, have been the best in red today. Both put in a shift, both suffering right now.
Nathaniel Klein coming on for Tyrick Mitchell in injury time as a substitute. It's finished. Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 1 at Tynecastle in the Scottish Premiership. Alistair Bruce Ball standing by for Sports Report on BBC Radio 5 Live in about 6 minutes time. As the throw from Toffolo. Is there still time for one of these two teams to get a dramatic winner. By my watch, we have 2 minutes remaining of the minimum of 6, and Forest have been awarded a free kick deep inside their own half.
Yeah, they don't mind giving away the free kicks you want up in the other end there just now. But did Forest take a chance? Did put a little bit more emphasis on getting the ball into the centre forwards as quickly as possible? I don't know if that's a good idea. I think they should keep on doing what they're doing and maybe just get the ball wide one more time and get across it.
Ball goes back by Rayner to Sells. Sells clears it downfield easily, unchallenged header away by Richards. Felipe touches it forward. Gibbs-White lays it off. Yates 10 yards outside the centre circle, passes it out wide. Williams is over the halfway line. Time running out, 60 seconds remain. The Forest bench are desperate to say get the ball forward. Now the cross comes in from the right, flicked away by the outstretched right leg of Joachim Andersen. Gibbs-White picks up that loose ball, forces Toffolo wide on the left hand side, this near side as they attack the Trent end. Here is Hudson-Odoi, back heels it. Gibbs-White with the cross, cleared on the volley by Andersen. By my watch, 45 seconds remain. Aberdeen have beaten Ross County by 2-1 at Pittodrie in the Scottish Premiership. Murillo, forward ball. Rayner, centre circle in the Forest half. Goes right. Felipe gets the ball back. That's Felipe. They're being very, very patient given that time is desperately running out. Now the ball is hit long. Yates has made the run forward. Andersen brings it under control. His clearance. Lerma does well to control that. And it's now back with Crystal Palace and the ball cleared on that far side.
It was just the way Andersen stepped over there. He was very calm, wasn't he? And the three centre-backs have done such a good job. You think of how few opportunities that Nottingham Forest have had today, and it's been about them three more than anyone else.
The 6 minutes are almost up. Forest with a cross from Toffolo on the left-hand side. Still 1-1. Clearance by Hughes. Out of play, it will bounce. Unless Gibbs-White will keep it in play, to which he does, in front of the Palace dugout. It's got to go long, surely. Toffolo over the halfway line on this left-hand side. Still they play the ball back. Still in that middle area of the field. Gibbs-White out towards Williams. They've got runners forward. Wood, Ilanga and Hudson-Odoi. And it's aimed towards Hudson-Odoi, who gets their left-hand side. 6.5 minutes played. In comes the cross. Bouncing ball in the penalty area. And there is indeed the final whistle. Well, they started the day in the relegation zone for the first time this season, but because of Luton Town and their defeats in North London, a precious point will take Nottingham Forest out of the bottom three. Your thoughts, Pat Nevin?
Very, very hard-working game from both sets of teams. Point decent for both teams, slightly better for Palace, I think.
Crystal Palace took the lead through Mateta. Eze had a couple of chances to increase it, and then the equalising goal just past the hour by Wood. Forest then had more chances, but in the end it finished all square. Nottingham Forest 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Pat. Reaction to come in Sports Report on the way shortly here on 5 Live this afternoon. Nottingham Forest out of the bottom three on goal difference. Luton still playing at Tottenham, though currently trailing by 2-1. 25 goals.